Ah, excuse me. Hello. I know it's a little late for a visual novel, but I had a long fucking day today. Very, very long. But, well, wasn't that long, but it felt long. That's all I can say. We're back with Raging Loop. And yeah. Oh, shoot. Oh man, I'm the most awkward person to text. So gosh, last time we streamed was also this game too. But that's also because there's a lot going on, a lot of things happening, the usual. So, so last time we played this, we got a perfect loss as our first sort of area. So now we are going to essentially replay the game, but this time with a different choice. So we're going to go to recall. Ooh, and it immediately going to show us stuff. Ooh, okay. So, like, essentially what you should be doing is like playing from the start and like reading everything, but we kind of already have done that. So now we're just kind of doing something else. Suddenly a rush of memories flitted into my mind. Remember the incident. Right, how did I forget? I'd already experienced this looping phenomena or whatever. Hold on, looping? What the hell? There was no way something like that could... But if that wasn't it, what else could explain this? How else could I, someone who's died once, be alive right now? Twice, actually. I had clear memories of getting caught up in some strange incident at Yazumisu, and so for reference's sake, if I'm just like kind of reading all through this, the infiltration, damn. So to explain, we play as Haruaki. He is trying to remember something, didn't, goes through all of the werewolf game and ends up losing, but he never participated. Now it's time for him to participate. I had clear memories of getting caught up in some strange incident at Yasumizu, and shit, I couldn't remember how it ended. It was like this last time too. My memories were all fragmented. But I did remember that I went to Yasumizu, met the people there, and died. Had I come back here because I died? That was a ridiculous idea, but the pain and fear I felt back then was just so vivid and fresh in my mind. I simply couldn't dismiss it as just a dream or illusion. There's no point in lying to myself. I was here having experienced something that made me sure I died. It was an incomplete memory from the future. I had no idea why I had it, but I definitely did. I had to come to terms with it first and foremost. The gas tank wasn't empty, but my phone couldn't find a signal and was running out of battery. My throat was a bit dry, exactly like last time. That meant that I was about to arrive at... Knew it. I really didn't want to meet that employee again, but from what I experienced, she was the only one I'd met before going to Fujiyoshi, so avoiding her probably wasn't a great idea. Her attitude was shit, but at least she always did what I asked, though I really didn't want to drive down that unpaved road again. Hey. Once again, she greeted her customer in a borderline insane way. It actually made me kind of relieved. I wanted to believe that it was just some trick of the mind. It was just like before. To her, it was just an annoying late-night customer. Oh well, I just buy what I'd wanted. I'll take these. Huh? Why are you getting so much crap? No reason. Yasumizu was just desperately poor and it just had me worried. What was her problem? I was the customer. With this much stuff, she had to use the register. Still grumbling, she started scanning the barcodes. When she was done, I paid and asked, I want to go to the nearest settlement. Do you have a map I could look at? Huh? No, we don't. Please, I need it. Just wait. She went through the staff door. Found it. I knew it. This here's the store. Go to the north of the crossroads. I'm not doing her voice because like she's just showed up once. You'll find it overpass soon enough. Cross it when you come to a fork next to a giant boulder. Turn right and head straight. That's just a forest, isn't it? I knew that it was. There wasn't even a paved road there. Why'd she recommend the road anyway? If I'd crashed and died, it'd be homicide by negligence. There's a settlement, it's just not on the map. That wasn't a lie. It wasn't weird for Yasumizu to not be on the map. It was a nearby abandoned settlement in the middle of nowhere. Why did she know about it? Did she live in Kamafujiyoshi or something? That sounds like it'd be bad for my bike. What about this place, Fujiyoshi? It's a 2-hour drive through a shitty mountain path. Can I write that down? Sure. Where's the other closest town? Past 2 mountains? Man, I couldn't make any sense of the local distance measurements. I don't recommend going wild around these parts at night. Oh, actual consideration. That was hard to be grateful. She was the one who pointed me in the direction of that shitty road in the first place. Turning back takes courage too. Turning back, huh? I'll think about it. Thank you. Thanks for coming or whatever. Oh, by the way, got any interesting local drinks? I didn't see any in the drink aisle. Well, then we don't have any. I just thought you might have something in the back. Like hell we would. Could you at least check? Just wait. Found it. Seriously? She brought me a 500cc bottle with a black liquid inside. The label looked written by hand and said Wild Plant Cola. I expected nothing, got something huge. This place was amazing. Oh, sorry, but I got quite a lot of stuff. Do you have a rubber rope I could hang on my bike to hold it all? What up, Cybernetic? Haruaki being the worst customer? Late night customers? Not that bad. Also, I should probably grab my food. I can just go right there. I'm sorry. Late night repeatedly going, hey, can you check in the back for whatever? Well, the problem is like he kind of knows already that this clerk is just trying to do the bare minimum. However, if I've known anything about gas station clerks by playing other games, is that this one's hella important to the story and probably a godlike entity of some kind. if I've played previous games. This ain't a hardware store. I'd be happy if you just looked. Just wait. Found it. Seriously? Well, since you come this far, I have a list here. Think you can see if you have anything on the list? What the hell? You got a death wish or something? Are you saying you'd kill me? Please, I want you to just have a look. Wait here. Thanks. We had it all. What the hell is this place? Yeah, nah. I'd be Haruaki. I'd be like, why the fuck do you have all this? It felt like she was about to kill me, but I successfully came out with pretty much all I needed. Then I just made a run for it. Opened up to the weird Wild Plant Cola. Looking up at the noisy light trap above, I took a sip. It was cool and tense and had a strange grassy flavor, but wasn't too bad at all. I expected something totally gross, but it was actually a legit drink. Slightly disappointed, I looked at the ingredients. Cola and plant extract. Hold on, cola as an ingredient? Did they just buy cola and mix it in? Plant extract could be anything from fruits to poisonous plants. What the hell, was this even safe to drink? At least it tasted good. It was probably smart to just turn around and drive away. Entering Fujiyoshi means death. Turn back. Perhaps that was what the loops were trying to tell me. Maybe I ought to listen. But was it really that easy? I had no real grounds for this, but if the cause of the strange phenomenon was somewhere in the village, perhaps I couldn't break out of the loop until I solved the mystery behind it. But what happened if I left then? Would I go on and live out the rest of my days only to die and come back here? Would I return to youth after years of being old? That part didn't sound half bad, actually, but was it really something I could just accept so easily? This was just speculation. But what if I actually hadn't moved an inch from that mountain pass? Was everything from then, now, and until death just an antemortem fever dream, and dying again would just bring me back there? If that was how it was, everything I do with my life from this point on would be meaningless. Maybe I really should move on, only after taking care of whatever was binding me. Also, how could I leave something so strange, unnatural, and incomprehensible and just return to the city? Ooh, different options. I mean, we're going to do all three of these. We are absolutely doing all three of these, and then we'll kind of go from there. I guess we'll start with Turn Back. Because, yeah, Turn Back and Pass by Fujiyoshi, I think, are probably the two incorrect answers. So just entering Fujiyoshi would be fine, and then just kind of going from there. Also, sorry, I have to bring this up. Am I like just generally a fast reader or something? Because, so the reason the stream is so late today, and because since I'm supposed to be off work at like 3 and everything, like what all happened, I went to like a new hire orientation for my new job, and I ended up reading some of the slides because that was what they, needed to be done, and so on and so forth. They have, like the whole popcorn read sort of shenanigans. And like, I tend to read very clear, concise, but also like kind of quick, and don't tend to like change words at all. Closer, it's getting a little cold, or a little warm, and like everyone kept looking at me as I'm reading, like, holy crap, how are you doing this? And everyone else is kind of like struggling, so I don't know. Anyway, let's turn back. Until I finished my drink, the thing guiding me was my good sense, otherwise known as opportunism. Man, what a weird experience that was. It'd make for a good campfire story once I made it back where I belonged. I pushed aside my sense that something wasn't right. My anxiety and my fear had straddled the seat of my bike. Well, there was another way to look at this. I could try and see whether ignoring it all and running away would actually work. After all, this might end up being the only way to solve the problem. I turned the key, opened the throttle, pushed the signal to the left, and connected the clutch. Away I went, starting with a left turn. Anyway, I go back up the mountain path. I had enough of this ride. I returned to civilization, eat some normal food, get some decent sleep, and live my boring everyday life. Just recognizing how precious those things were was more than enough for me. That made this trip all worth it. A dense mist drifted into view. And we crashed and died. Well, that was easy. We did it! Bad ending number 6. Watch the hint corner? Hell yeah, we get to use the smoking sheep. Take it to time loop? True. You done it now, eh, Chief? This one was pretty standard, so let's get right to it. Bad ending number 6. Mysterious U-turn death. Just like bad ending 4, this was an ending you knew wouldn't turn out well, but tried it just for the heck of it. Looks like running away isn't an option. Better suck it up, I guess. Go back to infiltration, choose route, and test your luck again. It was short, but that's all for this time. Die another hardy death next time. I'm just gonna skip past the sheep. For when he keeps saying that, I'm like, okay. Alright. So obviously there's multiple wrong answers. I mean, let's pass by Fujiyoshi. I feel like that would be okay. As I finished my drink, the idea I had was barely different from just turning around and leaving. Maybe I could just pass it by? I was curious what would happen if I ignored Yasumizu, Fujiyoshi, and the clerk's warning and simply drove on past. Wait, why would anything happen? I just continued down the road, right? Why did I feel so uneasy then? Maybe because I already died. After thinking for a moment, I'd arrived at the mindset of eliminating whatever options seemed wrong. My guess was that this wouldn't take care of the root of the problem, but I was the type who wouldn't believe that until I tried it myself. I turned the key up on the throttle, pushed the signal to the left, and connected the clutch. Anyway, I went, starting with the right turn. The tense mountain path continued for a while. Though I didn't feel like falling asleep, I was definitely becoming more and more exhausted, both mentally and physically. Even in this jacket, the force of the wind going by was doing a number on my body, especially as I kept onboard for over an hour. I did, however, see a sign above my head that said Fujiyoshi. As I decided, I just passed it by, never coming close to Kamafujiyoshi or Yasumizu. Now I just passed the 2 mountains and reached the town I was told about. Perhaps I should have been more suspicious of the fact that I stopped acting on my heart after that. Maybe I was just so tired I couldn't even make such decisions. I could only remember noticing a strangely dense mist surrounding me. That was when my brain lost all capacity for perception or judgment. And we crash and die. Crazy. Bad ending number 7. We're just getting all the bad endings. Perfect. You done it yet again, eh, Chief? Alright, let's get it over with. Bad ending number 7. Mysterious passing by death. Well, this is another ending you checked for the heck of it just to make sure it wasn't possible. Unfortunately, running away is not an option. Go back to infiltration, choose route, and test your luck again. Okay, that's it this time. Die another hardy death next time. Alright, perfect. In 2 different timelines, we decided to just leave them be. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing I'll say about that, Cybernetic, is that I feel like once you come to terms with the fact that you're in a loop, this is an interesting discussion I think you could have, where consider what options you have when it comes to finding out you're in a time loop. If you're in a time loop and you've already died before, there is a possibility that you just start becoming numb to it, especially if you find out that the death is more or less painless and you don't remember the pain, just the fact that you had died. I'm thinking of like, I don't watch too much anime, but I think that's the same concept in was it Re:Zero with Subaru, I think his name is. I haven't watched it, but from what I understood about that, from like the little I know, I think he feels the pain of every death, and he slowly has just become numb to it and just like stopped caring, while I'm assuming others who are in the same situation can't handle the pain. In this case, since Haraki has already died technically twice, but notwithstanding these next two bad endings, I think he already has picked up on the fact that it's painless, that he doesn't feel anything when it happens, when he does the loop again, to the point that he's just casual about it because, like, well, I'm not going to feel anything, so like it's worth a shot. And I think I would be the same in a situation like if I find myself in a loop and at like let's say I just died and like I come back to the beginning of the loop and I don't remember, like I remember dying but I don't remember the pain behind it, I'd probably do the same thing. Unless you're absolutely certain about how the time loop works, you cannot know what terminates it. So until you do, you should be way more careful about consequences. See, that's true. But also, like, one, you shouldn't, if you know you're in a time, like, one, you can't just be like, I wonder if I'm in a time loop today. Let me test it out. Like, that's not going to end well. Like, you have to have, like, reason for believing it, obviously. But, like, let's say you do find yourself in a time loop. Like, you legitimately know. I'm a firm believer of, what is it, string theory, where like the multiple different universes depending on actions. So I would have this belief, and this might just be me. I once again I can't speak for everybody, but my take on it would be there is gonna ultimately come, like if I'm stuck in a loop and it's related to string theory, I will eventually find that one path that will bring me to the end of the loop without dying. I'm going to keep going into different loops, and if I die, that's the end of it. And even if I don't know if like the end of the loop is there, if unfortunately I'm going to have to die to figure it out, that means that that version of me is going to die and that a different one will now have the knowledge to live in their timeline. So that's my personal belief on it. But once again, everyone has their own different takes on it. But okay, running out of non-lethal sensible options. Yeah. Oh man. Should I talk about this? So also for those who don't know, I'm really big into like wanting, like if I have the ability at some point, I do want to be like a scenario or like script writer for a game at some point. I went to school for English for a little bit. I've always wanted to write stories and share those stories with everyone else. I've not been too big on movies because I feel like movies you could fall flat, but if you do a game well, it can stick with people. I feel like much more than a movie, but that's my opinion because I don't have a high like of movies, as it were. Let me go back also to this. Sorry. But the reason I bring this up is because I have a notebook around here. I think it's in my backpack over there that has a list of just random dreams I've had that I would personally think would be making good stories. The reason I'm bringing this up is because one of the ideas that I had was a game where you play as the protagonist who is stuck in a time loop, aware that they're in a time loop for a death game sort of thing, but they're not the person who the loop is revolving around, and they're not the person who their actions affect the loop. It's somebody else. So like if you were playing the game, your start of the game would be like the same as everyone else's, but the more you do the loop, different things will happen without your input. And that would tip off the player that the main character is not actually the one responsible for like fixing the loops or anything, and is just kind of just a bystander. And you'd have to figure out, one, who's in charge of the loop, two, obviously what would close the loop, but you yourself can't close the loop. You'd have to find the person who the loop is revolving around and get them to close said loop. It was an interesting idea that I came up with. I know of some of the things that would happen. I don't want to get into specifics if it ever becomes a thing, but there wasn't a idea. Like I already knew what the ending would be, what would eventually close the loop, how many characters would be involved, what the general story was, who the loop would revolve around, and why. But also my brain's very dark. So like the idea, I'm not gonna say like what my ending idea would be for that sort of game or that sort of story, but I know what the ending would be. I can see it in my head very clearly, and it's so dark, but like makes sense in the context of the story. And then it would also, like, at that point you would already know why your character is like aware of the loop, who the loop revolves around, if there are any other characters, which there would probably be. I think I had like 2 or 3 characters would also be aware of the loop and how they became aware of the loop. Um, and also what the purpose of every different timeline would be. So just an idea that I had. I thought it would be a really fun idea to play around with if it could become like a game or something. I unfortunately don't have the time because I'm now working a lot of hours to, and also streaming and wanting to make content. That little difficult to do that. But hey, you know, it is what it is. So anyway, sorry, continuing with the game, enter Fujiyoshi through the normal route. As I finished my drink, I made my decision. I returned there. I'd face that tragedy again. Of course, I was curious about this looping phenomena, but I did recall what I thought during my final moments. It was something like, if only I handled this better. And for better or worse, this weird looping phenomenon had given me a chance to do just that. If I went about it all the bit better, perhaps I could get a better ending. True. Yasako Mamiya Yudai Hashimoto. Kanzo Makishima. Yoshitsugu Aribe Takumi Muro. The Old Man Who Cried Wolf, Chikamochi Kamoshida, Rikako Uematsu, Kaori Oribe, Kiyonosuke Nosato, Mako. Hell, even Yasunaga Oribe, Tai Yamawaki, and Haru Makishima were just victims of some strange superstition. But I, Haruaki Fusashi, could not delude myself. I was no hero, I had no powers, no convictions. Buddy, I think looping's a power. I was just a dilettante. Dilettante? I don't know. My only motivation here was a sense of perfectionism. I was annoyed at how many mistakes I made the first time around. Plus, there was a certain attraction I felt toward the unknown. It was an urge foundational to my being, and I'd be risking my life on its behalf. I wasn't about to pretend I was acting for the sake of others here. Although, Chiemi Serizawa, though she hated her childhood home, it remained part of who she was, and I wanted to keep that from being tarnished with blood. That motive was perverse, forceful, selfish, lustful, and filthy, and I couldn't let myself forget any of that. He's hardcore crushing on Chiemi. I remember the names of those I'd meet and what I had to do. Here's the thing. I get the feeling that by doing a different path, there are going to be different wolves and everything. So I'm going to assume, I know I shouldn't be assuming things, but I'm going to assume in this whole like choice right here, I'm going to assume that there's going to be one where he treats everything like it's all from the previous timeline, even though that would factually be incorrect, and that it just changes every single time. And he has to learn that. I turned the key up at the throttle, pushed the signal to the left, and connected the clutch. Away I went, starting with the right turn. You'll find an overpass soon enough. Cross it when you come to a fork next to a giant boulder. Turn right and head straight. I quickly came across it. I could clearly remember this overpass. The large boulder wasn't new to me either, but I wouldn't take that route this time. I just kept on driving, not lowering my speed for a moment. Full speed ahead. I drove on the winding mountain path. Strangely enough, my fatigue, though present, wasn't too bad, and my head was perfectly clear. I knew which route to take without even looking at my copy of the map. Maybe I'd driven through here before? Perhaps this wasn't the first choice I made, but one of many? I couldn't be sure, and since my memories were so incomplete, nothing was certain. Still, there'd be an asset in the fight ahead. I wasn't going into this unarmed. I could no longer see the moon. If those memories held true, the rain would begin soon. Also, if anybody gets the... Oh. Really? This early? Okay. Well, that's fun. By the way, if you get the reference for the title of the stream / video VOD, good for you. End of the line. You know what I mean, right? You set the upload streaming limit alert message on, didn't you? This is it, meaning you can only upload videos reaching up to this chapter. Well, you could actually go up to the choice that pops up after this, so prepare your goodbyes and stuff. Okay. So, here's the thing. I'm aware of this, right? Hence why I put the option on and everything. I'm fully aware that, like, cool, you did the first path, now every other path, please don't stream it. Here's the issue. Yeah, that warning's a little bit outdated. Yeah. I've already come across this when I played Buried Stars, which it's another game I need to go back and finish, but I just want to, like, is Cybernetic. I keep calling you Cybernetic. I should probably just call you Cyber, but I'm going to say Cybernetic. You probably already know because you seem to be a pretty big fan of this game. There's a lot of content already out on this game. There's people who have done streams and videos of Raging Loop before. There's probably going to be still more after me. I'm going to be handling this the same way Blaze told me for Buried Stars for the most part, except since this game is older and there's already quite a bit of information out about it. I'm going to say that if you enjoyed the series thus far, play the game yourself, stop watching here, and see what choices you make. If you can't afford the game or anything, maybe buy it later. That's what I'll say. And if you want to stick with me through the rest of all the different endings, by all means. But this is your heads up to purchase the game if you enjoyed it thus far in the two and a bit streams that I've done of this game. Or at the very least, like, wishlist it if you want to get it later. But I would recommend, like, buying and playing through the game. I'm not going to do the same thing I did with Buried Stars, where Buried Stars' true ending I had to keep unlisted. Like, I could upload the VOD, but immediately had to unlist it. I don't have to worry about that because, as Cybernetic, you just pointed out, it's outdated. So I can keep going from this point, but to just cross my T's, dot my I's, I just want to let y'all know, please go and support this game. If you have at least been enjoying it thus far. I think that covers all my bases. Pretty much like the same thing I said for Buried Stars, except Buried Stars, I had to really hammer home that, like, hey, you're not going to see this VOD unless it's in the playlist, because otherwise the entire series will get striked. Which back then, the developers of Buried Stars were pretty harsh about that. But luckily, I have my good old friend and fellow content creator SHSL Blaze, who should definitely check out. They gave me the lowdown on what I needed to do in that case. So, but yeah, I'm also, like, elongating this so that way people know, giving them time if they want to see it, if they don't. Yeah. I'll probably put something in the descriptions, at least on the VODs, saying to, like, support the game, purchase it here. Please note you will be spoiled if you continue watching, like right at the top. So, I think you're dodge. Anyway, let's keep going. I drove in darkness, but I could still make out a sign above me. The road wasn't wide, but I decelerated and somehow managed a U-turn. There were no other cars, so no one would complain. I returned and looked at the sign. It said that driving ahead would have led me to Kachihara, while by turning right I found myself in Fujiyoshi. Finally. It was already past midnight, but actually earlier than I'd thought. A 30-minute drive from this point would lead me to Fujiyoshi, or rather, Kamafujiyoshi, a place that wasn't too popular among Yasumizu's people. Ooh, 3 keys. Got it. Enter village. Oh, a house. My time estimate was more or less right. After 30 or so minutes, I began seeing houses between the hills and the trees. I eventually left the forest and could see as well as anyone could in the middle of the night. It was already raining, and I knew it would only get worse. I had to do something before that happened. There were next to no city lights, and not a single house I could see was lit up either. However, unlike Yasumizu, the destitute place where most of the houses had been built from wood, the houses here were modern. The road was well paved too. I could even see some bus stops and vending machines, emphasizing that this was modern Japan. Even if they have an inn or something, I doubt they'd accept someone barging in so late. Some would think there was a way for me to at least get a roof over my head, but I knew that was just a city dweller misconception. Same went for the idea that rural folk were nice enough to let you stay if you just asked nicely. That was just pure delusion. In actuality, rural areas were subject to local legends and traditions, with many of the residents believing good, peaceful lives were only possible thanks to their protection. Of course, that wasn't always wrong, but that was also the reason why many rural people were so cold to outsiders. Hell, this was a village so behind the times it still had a settlement for the ostracized, which they discriminated against so badly. This place was probably even more insular than your average rural village. They wouldn't take kindly to an outsider like me and would probably be wary the entire time I stayed here. I can only imagine how strongly they'd react if some brown-haired man suddenly drove in on a bike and... "Hey, what are you doing? Stop right there! Get off and come with me!" Was I some sort of idiot? Like the city boy I was, just went in there thinking it'd all just work out. Now I caught the attention of a police officer. Well, I doubted he'd arrest me or anything, but the fact that there was some weirdo who invaded the village in the middle of the night would spread among the people here in less than a day. Now I'd be treated like a criminal if I wanted to talk to anyone here. The officer looked middle-aged, but what stood out about him was the fact that he seemed like the most generic meathead old man from the countryside, because he has no personality. He told me to sit down here and wait until he came back. I could only imagine the chewing out I was in for. Still, I was pretty sure that passing Kamafujiyoshi was one of the main conditions here. I could clearly remember. I had memories of this. Hisako Mamiya and Yudai Hashimoto came through through the normal route, and they weren't considered a problem. They died on the first day of the feast, but that wasn't because they were outsiders. They just violated the feast rules. They either hadn't cleansed themselves, sheltered all alone, or dreamed. My assumption was that before it all happened, they stayed at an inn in Kamafujiyoshi. They only come to Yasumizu on the day for the sake of an article. Unfortunately for them, the mist came and the landslide happened, making it impossible for them to go back to Kamafujiyoshi by car. Then everyone started sheltering, and no one came to help them. Forget the outsider. Old man Konzo and I'll check the other places. Stop wasting time and go back to yours. Yeah, even Takumi-san tried to cut me off because I was an outsider. Giving me a way to survive, however, improvised, was probably a huge risk for Chiemi. I had to keep that in mind. Back to the journalist, though. Ended up abandoned in the village plaza, clueless about what was happening. What had they done then? They'd obviously chosen to spend the night in the van. I had no idea how Hashimoto-shi and Mamiya-san fit in there together, but since I hadn't slept alone, they'd broken the shelter rule. Hell, I wasn't sure if the van was a valid source of shelter to begin with, even if locked. That was probably why Hashimoto-shi's body was found with the van. And since Hisako Mamiya had probably roamed around at night, she'd broken the dream rule. I had no idea why she'd gone outside, but it could have been something simple, such as nature calling or a search for a better place to sleep. Of course, as a journalist, she might have smelled a scoop in this ominous village and gone out to gather info. Not to mention, they couldn't have taken a bath in their situation, so they obviously hadn't cleansed themselves. And so she died at the hands of that thing. Now, about what happened to me. I died once after leaving the outdoor toilet. Dying because I'd gone outside was understandable, but honestly, I wasn't sure if that toilet even counted as inside. I bet that it didn't. And of course, I hadn't bathed or slept, so I broke all the rules. And yet, I'd survived. What had made my situation different then? It was whether I'd been found by that thing or not. Upon seeing me, it recognized me as a rule breaker and executed me. But when it hadn't found me, I'd survived despite breaking all the rules. That meant that the sheltering law was simply a method meant to keep the werewolf-like thing from finding you. The time I'd survived, it tried to force its way in, but failed. Nothing had happened to me because I was locked in, but if the lock was broken or something, I'd have been found and killed easily. That's right, okay. So, I was wondering about that, because I was like... Yeah, Chiemi specifically said to do, I think, the opposite of what they were supposed to do. So it's like I feel like Chiemi then knew what was about to happen, which is fair. They all kind of knew what was going to happen. And then said what she said to prevent Haruaki from being involved. So now he's trying to make sure he does all of that so he can be involved. Basically, you could avoid the monster by just properly locking yourself in somewhere. Mako was proof of that. She was a lost child who'd come from the hated Saranaga, but she'd survived all the way up to the end without succumbing to the corruption. That meant the important thing there was to get a lockable residence in Yasumizu with the bath. And that was exactly why arriving via the normal route was necessary. If I'd come from Saranaga again, most of the inhabitants would treat me with distrust and disgust, driving me away. But if I was a person who would arrive through Kamafujiyoshi for whatever reason, they'd be willing to accommodate. Mako was probably only given a place because she was young and because Rikako Uematsu had protected her. I couldn't expect similar treatment. Rikako Uematsu preemptively gave a house to Mako? To a small child like her? That made it seem like she knew the mists and the feast would come. I'd think more on that later, though. It could be that she'd given her a key right after the mists came. Anyway, if I could be like Mako and get a proper place I could stay in, I'd have the right to participate in the Feast of the Yomi Purge. I'd be able to listen to the talks myself instead of relying on Chiemi, and be able to contribute my own thoughts. I'd also learn much more about the feast. That'd mean a lot, considering that some people there, especially the elders, wouldn't want to talk about Yasumizu's problems to those outside the feast. A part of me wanted to avoid another tragedy, but the part of me that wanted to find out what was behind this mystery was equally strong. That monster, and the thing that allowed me to still be here, this looping phenomena, was the main mysteries here. Though I did have some questions about the monster. If it hadn't found me when I locked myself in the toilet, it was probably just curious why it was locked. Couldn't a monster with a wolf head just track me by scent? Why did it half-ass the job? Its failure to eliminate me only made the inhabitants more suspicious of me. There were no feast laws regarding outsiders. That was why it was best for us to just not be present. Looking at the current laws, those who didn't have a place to stay were outsiders, and they had to be removed because of that. The system worked fine for the most part, but then there was me, a proper breach. If that monster meted out the corruption, it was on the side of Great Lord Shinai. As such, it should have used some divine powers or whatever to address the problem. Also, it seemed to be like they'd had the power to unlock doors. Man, this was getting confusing. Fair, but I'm sure we'll probably get this solved at some point. Last time the wolves were Yasunaga Oribe and Tai Yamawaki. According to legend, they had been replaced by wolves who'd come back from the dead, but their story was completely different. They said they were normal people who had wolves as their guardians. Okay. Yeah, because the past 2 streams, I was convinced that there were wolves that replaced them, so this makes more sense that they were just humans with wolf guardians. Because if the wolves replaced them, then they would have to act completely suspicious and such. Masquerade as them. But the fact that they're humans with wolf guardians means that they are actually themselves. That meant that the thing couldn't have been Yasunaga-kun or Taisan. It was more like an agent of the same side as whatever granted them their powers. I had no idea why they were granting the protection of the Guardians, but from what I could tell, Guardians were like fragments of divine power. And if you were on the same side as the one who granted those powers, couldn't you just use the unlocking power whenever you wanted? Why would a supernatural being make such a careless mistake? Any assumptions made beyond this point would just be grasping at straws and bias my observations. I just stop here for now. Anyway, it was imperative I got myself a place to stay. What was I doing here anyway? I'd been theorizing about this and that for almost half an hour now. Dawn was close. I only had a little over 10 hours until the mist came, and I had to find a secure place to stay within that time. That was hard to begin with, but as things stood, it was outright impossible. Did I have to run away? What if I just ran away to Yasumizu, said I came from Kamafujiyoshi like it was no big deal, and asked them to let me live there? Well, they had enough imagination to suspect me. I definitely needed someone from Kamafujiyoshi to vouch for me, and for that I had to find something that could turn this around. I looked around the police box. A tidy desk, a rotary phone. This felt like the place of an officer from the mid-20th century. There were wanted posters on the walls. Oh, they caught that guy. One of the men even had the look of a criminal. And that one, a serial killer, eh? It was possible he was lurking in the area, huh? That was pretty freaky. Is this stuff that I should know? Red herrings? Finally, I heard some noise. The door opened and the officer returned. Don't run away. You've got guts. I should have ran? What was that? He wasn't one to mess around. I mean, I didn't do anything wrong. What's your name? Haruaki Fusashi. Haru from Sun and Aki from Meiji. From Hariaki and Fusa from Workshop and Ishii from Stone. For Fusashi. Interesting. Fusashi. What a weird name. Best not to be a fake, kid. Rude. You from Tokyo? Yes, I am. It was like anyone weird was from Tokyo to them. Some serious stereotyping there. He was right, though. How old are you? 24. Huh? What's your job? I'm a student. College, huh? So you got a good head, but no common sense. I just drove on the road at night. That was so unfair. I wanted to talk back so badly. So why are you here? He lowered his voice a bit. That was the main matter here, and how he treated me would change depending on my answer. What angle do I have to take? 5 and 6. So the previous one, sorry, I just want to be sure. So that's 5 and 6, and this is also 5 and 6. Interesting. I'm gonna say the bad options followed after our girlfriend. Had an idea. Well, what? Say it. I heard that the girl I dedicated my heart to lives somewhere around here, so I came looking for her. There, he acted like he didn't care, but he was definitely interested. Here in human society, love stories were a supreme form of entertainment and a good excuse for doing all sorts of weird things. Anything was possible when a girl or guy was involved. Well, you say that, but no one in here actually went to Tokyo. We met elsewhere. Oh? When I went to Karuizawa to recover from the after effects of the bird flu. Damn! Dude's making so many lies. He's me! He's a professional liar. I'm so proud of you. I shouldn't be proud of that, but then again, I played so much Among Us and Town of Salem and whistled my way out of situations due to my silver tongue. And so I wove for him a dramatically majestic story of how I'd grown close to the woman I dedicated my life to. The cop was really into it. He looked like he didn't care at first, but by the time I got to the part where she first invited me to her house, he displayed a childlike enthusiasm. Eventually we became true lovers, but she said she couldn't throw away her childhood home, which led to a tearful goodbye. At that point, the cop was fully invested in the girl returning back home. So they threw away the city and came after her, eh? Ooh, oh. He smiled like he was about to pat me. It definitely captured his art. But was there a girl like that here? What's your fiance's name? There was. Everyone in rural areas knew each other, so trying to make up a person would get anywhere. But that wasn't a problem for me. I had the perfect name in mind. She's Chiemi Sarazawa. Let's fucking go. Good shit. Get out. Huh? Get out right now. He stood up and approached me so menacingly I felt he was about to attack me. In the end, he jumped on his scooter and led me to some crossroads, clearly intent on getting me as far away from Fujiyoshi as possible. I was now heading toward the so-called Kachihara area. The rain had already stopped, but it was tiring to drive along the still slick asphalt. I knew Chiemi and Fujiyoshi were distant, to say the least, and since she'd been out of the village, they couldn't have known what she'd been up to. I thought that'd make my story more believable, but what the hell was that reaction? The thing that set him off was Chiemi's name. She told me she'd almost killed someone with a bat. Was her reputation that bad? Even if it was that the right reaction to make? You expect something like, oh, I really think you shouldn't, and the like. Was it because she was from Yasumizu? That makes sense. If they didn't want outsiders to know about Yasumizu, it makes sense for them to chase away anyone coming to meet her. But it only made them look more suspicious. Interesting. Anyway, what now? Maybe I try coming back again after getting some rest at the nearest town? But from what I could tell, entering Yasumizu from Kama Fujiyoshi wouldn't be as easy as I first thought. The fatigue was getting the better of me. I knew it was a good idea to stop, but no, I actually didn't know it. I wasn't able to think straight. Mist? Now, was it artificial? No, that didn't make any sense. My mind was hazy and I could no longer make sense of anything. Yeah, we're dead. Yeah. Hey, I've been choosing correct this entire time. I'm doing good. Oh, we got a key! Let's fucking go! Taboo name. This is why we do the bad endings. Bad ending number 9. Yes. Too bad you done it now, ain't you? Things got rough again, huh? What hint will you get this time? Bad ending number 9. Mysterious Chiemi's name overreaction death. Take a good look at Key 6's contents in relation to the places it could be used on the scenario chart. Go back to 4 infiltration interrogation answer and look for the other keys. That should do it. That's it for this time. Die another hearty death next time. Alright. Let's take a look at that. Oh, man. I love the fact that you like bad ending. It's reminding me of a little bit of 428 Shibuya Scramble. Taboo name. I think I have to enter Yasumizu through Kama Fujiyoshi to participate in the feast. I managed to spin a good lie to the local cop, but he suddenly changed when I said Chiemi's name and kicked me out of the village. I was swallowed by mist afterwards, and it seems I got into an accident and died. I wonder how the people of Kama Fujiyoshi see her. In any case, saying her name won't do. I need to come up with a different way. Okay, so saying Chiemi's name doesn't work. So I just want to see everything. So, okay, that one's all done. I just want to see, like, because that's 20. 3, 8, 19, 20. Okay. Like I said, I just want to see. Leaving Yasumizu doesn't matter. I feel like there's an easier way to do this. It's not this, but that's fine. Stop poisoning. Didn't work. And then get set. Okay. So we have everything here. So infiltration. Like, we need to get 6 and entering the village. Reluctant questioning. Okay, so 6 unlocked 2 keys. So I'm going to take a guess that the other answer is going to get us another key. So you got lost. I went on a bike trip and lost my way. I just told him the truth. There was nothing shady about that, and telling him some cheap lies would only make him suspicious. Really? He put on a threatening tone. I really wish he didn't stare at me like that. What, did he expect me to fall for him? Really, I'd been wandering around the mountains for hours before finding a convenience store. An employee told me about this place. A convenience store? That told you to come here? She hadn't told me to go to Kama Fujiyoshi, but she had told me about Yasumizu. I'd just tell the truth until the end. She told me about a settlement in the mountains that's not even on the map. I kindly refused, and then she told me about here. That's strange. Is there a settlement like that? Beats me. It was clearly an act. He looked away. Man, this guy was honest. Well, I get it. There's nothing special about you, huh? Yes? I see. Well, you should stop going around at night and disturbing the peace like that. I'd have appreciated an apology for treating me with so much suspicion, but I had more important things to talk about. Anyway, would you mind if I spent the night here and... Alright, I'll show you the way to the road. Huh? But I'm so tired. If you can't complain, you'll be just fine. My fuel is running low. I'll give you some for my scooter. I don't feel so good. Then you should hurry up and go. Is something going on here? Nope. He wasn't even looking into my eyes as he said that. He got on his scooter and saw me off into the crossroads. Man, what a great guy. I didn't expect him to go this far. Yeah, right. Why the hell did he want me out so badly? Well, at least the rain stopped. This was the only good thing about this. Was this some special time of the year where the presence of outsiders was bad? Was it worth chasing me out even if it seemed unnatural? That seemed like a decent guess. Even if the mist hadn't shown up for decades now, if the legends were deeply rooted in local culture, there would still be related traditions alive. Or maybe he was sure something bad was going to happen? Or was he on the side that make it happen? Did they have a means to create such a dense mist? Mists happen when the air cooled and the water vapor in the air couldn't stay gaseous. It was basically small water droplets. The mechanism by which they worked could easily be replicated in a lab. They even did it on educational TV. Though I found it hard to believe that they could reproduce a scale vast enough to hide an entire settlement. They need some device that no doubt would be large and heavy, and it'd have to be in the Saranaga Rapids of all places. Though I'd only been to Saranaga when I couldn't see anything, either because it was at night or misty. If the mist was made by some huge machine put there by Kamafujiyoshi people, I'd be really pissed to say the least. Though Takumi-san did say he had to pick up corpses from Saranaga. Even if it was forbidden ground, it wasn't likely they could just install a device like that there without anyone noticing. That was how it was in some novel, wasn't it? The corpse was there to begin with, but they just couldn't perceive it. I'd have liked to believe in something a tad more realistic. In the end, I had to keep going toward the area called Kachihara. Maybe I get to rest there? If I returned the next day, the cop would surely snap at me. Would I even go back? The fatigue was getting the better of me. I knew it was a good idea to stop, but no, I actually didn't know it. I wasn't able to think straight. Hey, you know how the mist is going to kill us? It was artificial, no, it makes sense. My mind was hazy, it can no longer make sense of anything. And we're dead. So this should give us key number 5. Here's what my presumption is. Thanks, nice officer. Bad ending number 8. Watch the hidden corner? Yeah. Dude, we love the sheep. That's why I got a little sheeple here. Oh, you done it now, eh, Chief? This one's kind of hard to explain. Bad ending number 8. Mysterious, suspiciously nice officer death. You should have gotten key 5 from this. When you think about where it should be used, the rest should fall into place. Return to 4 infiltration interrogation answers. You think on how to obtain the remaining keys. Except for this time, die another hearty death, yada yada yada. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Sorry, I gotta click over here. I closed the side door. Alright, we can now give him a different answer. Snap. What's it to you, huh? Huh? This is Japan. Jesus. We went from being nice to being considerate to talk about Jimmy to now just being like, choose violence. Why is violence the correct answer? Who knows? This is Japan. I'm free to go wherever. I can be wherever I want. Wherever I want, damn it. The hell's up with you? I'm tired of dying, damn it. I know I come back, but dying really hurts. You damn punk. I know this root's a dead end too. What next then? You want me to dance naked? Some taste you got there, God. I dare you to do it, you shit. Just shut up and let me stay here. Let me go to Yasumizu and make it look normal. Whoa! No, he went crazy. What the hell? Hello, hello? Alright, I'll shoot him. Jesus. Holy shit. That's so fucking funny. He decides to snap because he's dying so much and then he gets shot. That's funny. I like that one. That was great. Yeah, you done it now, Chief. I mean, yeah, you did, but I guess I should give you a hint anyways. So this is number 7, right? Bad in number 10, death by nonsensical turn of events. Well, mood aside, I hope you at least learn not to get violent with police officers. Now that you've attained key 7, you have all you need to get by that officer. The 3 keys unlock a new choice at infiltration entering the village. Don't get it wrong, you hear? Now that's enough for this time. Another hearty death for me, will you? Or whatever he said. That's so funny. I'm going to be super, super truthful and tell you about the fact that I'm dying and losing my shit. Now, why don't you just go to Yasumizu? And I just really want to get shit done, dude. Meanwhile, I'm just going to shoot you. So, entering the village. No, fuck you. Drink booze from convenience store. Interesting. I stopped my bike. Then I flipped out the kickstand and locked it in place. After opening the toolbox under the seat, I hid my license, ID, and business card. Anything relating to me, basically, inside it. Kama Fujiyoshi was just ahead. If I came in like that, the officer would surely catch me and then chase me away. I had to find another way to convince that old man to let me stay. I reached into the bag of stuff I'd brought in the convenience store and took something out. It was a cup of refined sake. I quickly gulped it down. That's so bad. Cheap or not, just chugging sake like this was plain disrespectful. No trying this at home, kids. Not that kids could drink anyway. Drink responsibly. This is from a former bartender. Unfortunately, my life and fate and whatever were on the line here. Next cup. Ugh. Third cup. Blech. 4. Huh? Hell are you, a drunk? Never seen you here before. Yep. Whoa, you reek. Where are you from? Why are you out so late? Yep. Alright, just come with me. Yeah, I realized this. This one always let me go as long as it was good for driving. And it was best to just not talk at all and come all drunk. Yeah. Woohoo! Shut up, dumbass. You're disturbing the neighbors. The next day, the actual next day. Does this unlock another path? No, okay. Ugh. Where was I? Oh, wow, my head back. I hurt all over. The Tommy in a blanket. So he really let me spend the night here, just as I planned. The officer was actually a nice guy. Not like I couldn't tell. He was just rough and simple. Basically, the way I had to get around him was to get him to think there was nothing more to me than met the eye. Oh, you awake? Let's talk for a bit. Alright, it was time. So let me get this straight. You got no money, can't find a job, get chased from your apartment, left by your girl, and your parents are already gone. You came to the mountains to drink yourself stupid and die, but couldn't finish the job, huh? Yes. Good fucking story. Good job, Haruaki. I like the story. Doki as hell, isn't it? Yes. After I spent an hour lying about myself, the officer looked at me with a sympathetic expression. If you ask me, you should have tried to look more proper than that. Yes, I'll think about it. Basically, I didn't talk unless prompted, nor did I argue with him. This guy was definitely good-natured, but he was also rough around the edges, chatty, and a bit preachy. In this case, I just kind of let him set the pace. I was about to ask him something outrageous, after all. I needed to be completely on board with the story. The front door was made of glass, and when people passed me on the farm road in front, they all gave me funny looks. It was early morning, but the people at Kama Fujiyoshi were already aware of or concerned about my presence, an outsider. Well, dying ain't good. Yes, I was too scared to die even when drunk. Didn't seem that way. Sometimes you're so scared you can't help but laugh. Huh, that's so? Well, what do you want to do now? Paused to make it seem like I was hesitating. I want to make a fresh start, but I've got nowhere to go. I faked some tears and quivered as I spoke. My wife's from Miyazaki. They got a small workshop there. Want to give that a try? Huh? Your wife is from Kushu? Yeah, she's a tough woman. How'd you meet her? Oh, when I was still 20. And so he began his grandiose hour-long talk about his youthful romance. Good for you, officer. Good for you. I say good for you, and meanwhile, I had a whole... During that orientation, people were talking about, like, their significant others and everything, because they go over benefits and all that sort of jazz. And, the room for this place, I just want to say, there's like 9 or 10 people in there. I was the only one who, like, did not have any dependents or anything. So I'm just, like, sitting there, like, trying to listen, like, pretending to listen. And I'm just like, I got nothing. What the fuck? What the fuck do I do? The words karma and a curse rebound came to mind. Apparently wasn't a Fujiyoshi inhabitant at the start. He and his wife were only living here in the sticks because he was the local officer. It was then that said wife, a plump and pleasant woman, came out and served us tea, so they really were living here. Eventually got so lovey-dovey it was hard for me to talk. I instead considered what to do next. I mean, this made it really hard for me to say. I wanted to make a fresh start here in Fujiyoshi. Even his wife suggested I went to work for her family back in Kushu. Such nice people, exactly the type that gets swindled. That sounds great, but this place is nice too, isn't it? There's lots of nature. I think I could take it easy here. Oh, but it's so inconvenient. It's all surrounded by mountains. I have a feeling like I was brought here for a purpose, like maybe I'd meet someone? Oh, you did? You met us, didn't you? Damn, she was a tough one. This is the first time anyone has been so nice to me. Oh dear, please don't cry. I want to pay you back. Can I work somewhere in this village? I got to the heart of the matter, but the guy didn't look enthusiastic. His wife left the room, leaving behind the two of us in an awkward silence. I don't think you should. Huh? I mean, this place is full of old people. It's not like we have any local exports or anything. The most you could expect is odd jobs, but... It's like, please do not stay here. You seem like a nice young man. We want to protect you. We want to protect you. We want to protect you. That's good enough for me. I don't even need any money. It's great and all, but there's a town not far from here. I want to work here. Well, how do I put it? The people here are a bit strange, you see. He went and said it. Listening to his story made me guess that he wasn't under Fujiyoshi's sway to the degree others were. They lived here for 20 years, but in some small ways they were still outsiders. The bitterness in his expression was more than enough to give me that impression. Strange? Forget I said that. Anyway, don't take this the wrong way, but you should find some other... Suddenly I heard a sound coming from the outside. It was a town broadcast. Some speakers somewhere in the village were playing some unclear music, and it was... Oh, that surprised you? It's the sign that it's 7 o'clock. Yeah, I heard this music back in Yasumizu. It was both a children's song and a playground singing game. Chimid said it was called A Prayer to Shinai, so it was a song revering Great Lord Shinai. But from what I remembered, it was about the feast of the Yomi Purge. It's a strange melody. Forget what it's called. It's been around here for generations. So the village as a whole had inherited it. There wasn't anything strange about that, really. Even if its roots were in a cruel legend, the passage of time would eventually erode said legend's significance. Just introduce something like a wolf bullying festival, and it would be nothing more than a decent song to serve as a morning alarm for the villagers. But that was only true if the legend's meaning had been forgotten. What happened next was shocking, even to someone who had their suspicions about the nature of this place. One by one, people started coming out of their homes, forming a crowd. The road before the office was full of people traveling from right to left. Where had this many people even come from? I couldn't get any looks at their expressions, but they were all hanging their heads despondently. Were they just tired? What's going on? They're going to the watering hole. Watering hole? The eatery. Everyone eats breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. That was it. That's a bit weird. Yeah, it's got something to do with there being a ban on using fire because it could burn the mountain, so the watering hole did it in secret. That's why everyone here eats at the watering hole instead of their homes. Meal times are dictated by the Higuchi, so... What about us? The door suddenly opened up, and I heard a soft voice I didn't recognize. Surprised, the officer and I turned around. It was a man in a suit, average build. His face was round, and he looked a bit shy, middle-aged. It's nothing, Higuchi-san. And it turns out he was a member of one of the 4 head families here, the Higuchi. That was the family Kaori Oribe had married into, but when her husband, the family's head, died, she was sent to Yasumizu. That means this man was related to Yasunaga-kun and Yoshitsugu-kun. I couldn't see a resemblance. I was definitely intrigued, though. Fujiyoshi had a tradition of using the watering hole to feed themselves, and if the Higuchi family was in charge of it, that gave them an influential position. People needed food to stay alive, and if they didn't have any way to cook, they wouldn't even consider making food themselves. I couldn't only imagine the power a family could have if it was in charge of all the local food and drink. Kaori Oribe-san was in charge of the dining hall too. Her relation to the Higuchi probably had something to do with that. Perhaps she'd been sent there to fill that role? But if that was the case, the idea that Yasumizu had been completely abandoned wasn't true at all. It meant that Kama Fujiyoshi was actually controlling what went on there. Everyone was talking about this person. Who is he? Name's Fusashi. Kid went through some bad stuff, wandered here wanting to die. That sounds quite awful. Higuchi-san gave me a generally sympathetic smile. No need for that. I think I was in the right mind. Sorry for the bother. Well, that's all fine and good. I see. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Shoji Higuchi. I am in charge of the odd jobs around here. I'm pleased to meet you. I'm Haruaki Fusashi. You're quite stylish. A hunk, as they say. I wouldn't say so. May I ask what you were talking about? We're about to eat. Can't you leave it for later? I forgot. You always make your own food. Oh, but have you had breakfast yet, Fusashi-san? Care to join us? My family runs an eatery. We could treat you. It might also be a good chance to talk. Don't worry, looking after Fujiyoshi is part of my role. I like to know everything there is to know about what's happening here. Dude has no pupils. You never trust a man with no pupils. I'm just saying. He looked gentle and easy to get along with, but also like someone I had to watch my step around. He just walked right up to the local police officer and asked him for information like it was a casual request. It was clear who was in charge here. I gave the officer a glance out of the corner of my eye, but he'd stopped talking. I felt like the conversation I had with him could have led me to sharing breakfast with him and his wife. But he hadn't said anything about Shoji Higuchi inviting me. It was like he was telling me to accept it. Or perhaps there was just no point in trying to refuse. May I? Even so, I did ask for his permission. Can I have him after breakfast? But the officer didn't even want to talk to me anymore. There's still some things I'd like to ask him. Perhaps Fujiyoshi was a place where, in his presence, you couldn't even have a conversation without him involved. Yes, of course. Anyway, it was decided. The sky was clear. The eatery was split into several buildings around the village. From what Higuchi had told me, Fujiyoshi had a population of about 1,000 people. It was pretty small for an autonomous area, but it was still enough to make eating in one building impossible. We went into one of them. It was crowded, but upon seeing us, the villagers stepped aside as if this was all planned. Apparently, everyone here did what they could to accommodate Higuchi. Also, everyone was staring at me like I was an alien or something, but it felt like Higuchi's presence discouraged them from staring too long. That attitude aside, everyone here looked pretty normal. The usual Japanese people. The lethargy from before was nowhere to be seen. Maybe they just looked lethargic because it was early morning. Most looked like they were farmers, but I could also see some students in uniforms bearing the same design as the ones worn by the students in Yasumizu. The building itself was an aged wooden structure, but it was a whole lot bigger than the one in Yasumizu and looked way sturdier too. The interior wasn't too pretty, but it was spacious. You grabbed a tray right after walking in that got tea and rice bowls or whatever from the ladies in aprons. It felt like a high school cafeteria, but you couldn't choose what you wanted. You could refuse what you didn't want, though. Sorry, I'm like, I'm a little confused. Like, I get that Haruaki's like trying to sneak in to the, into the village, into Yasumizu, in order to, like, get this all to happen. But, like... I mean, I can't think of a better way to do this. But it just seems like so odd that like there's so much dwelling on Fujiyoshi. I guess it's like maybe for context about why Fujiyoshi is the way it is. So maybe this person is gonna like explain some like just general knowledge before we get to the feast. I don't know. It seems odd. Oh, I'll look after him. Don't worry. He spoke to the elderly woman one after another and made them stop staring at me with suspicion. Also, no one likes outsiders, apparently. Then we took our trays and, without paying anything, apparently they had something like union dues for that, how effective, walked away. Parting the crowd, we searched for a place to sit down. It's a bit cramped in here, but please, do eat. I really appreciated getting to eat a normal meal. Lots of rice, miso soup, the one with vegetables and boiled beans. I thought it was vegetarian at first, but then felt something meaty inside. Wait a second. Sorry, I'm just curious. There's no other option? So all the stuff, like literally all the stuff, because I mean, obviously this is just that we bought just doesn't matter anymore? That's weird. I thought it was, yeah, okay. It's shishi, not used to it? It doesn't taste that strange, does it? Shishi, like, you know shishi? Boar? Not specifically. In here, deer, boar, all the wild meat is called shishi. Oh yeah, I heard that shishi once used to be the Japanese reading for meat, before it became niku. I'm surprised you know that. The people of this area have been hunting for a long time, and even now, hunters share what they catch, like they did with this. I hadn't thought I'd ever eat wild game in some communal eatery. Lucky me. Though the taste was kind of bland overall. I could detect some soy sauce on the vegetables, while the boiled beans were kind of sweet. The soup stock, too, made me think that they used the minimal amount of flavoring. The miso soup didn't really seem like miso soup. It was more like a stew, probably because shishi was the only thing they used for the stock. I tasted more of it and realized that the overboiled meat still had a sort of beastly texture and smell about it. I couldn't call it good, but it was a unique local meat not everyone had the chance to eat. I was grateful for the experience. The eatery was still crowded as the people came and went, but Higuchi didn't seem bothered as we talked. I kept up with him during the conversation, repeating the same lies I told to the officer, and making sure to look as much of a poor, unfortunate soul as I could. He smiled all the way through, even as he interjected now and again. I felt like he was at least 100 times craftier than the officer, and I wondered if it was my inner contrarian speaking. After that, Higuchi and I returned to the officer's post, but what would you say to Fusashi-san moving to Fujiyoshi? It was what I wanted to hear, but I couldn't let it show in my face. While the officer was against it, he didn't intend to argue too strongly. He and Higuchi discussed some things, but it seemed like Higuchi already knew how he'd treat me, and it didn't look like the officer's take mattered to him. After a few exchanges, the officer caved, and it was my turn to speak. You okay with this too, aren't you, Fusashi-san? Now that was a smile I couldn't say no to even if I wanted to. Well, it really did seem like the heads of Kama Fujiyoshi were a twisted bunch. Yes, this opportunity is a godsend for me. You can settle in right away, but it's going to be a place a short distance from here. Was he serious? I don't mind. What kind of place is it? I'll tell you more in a moment. Oh, that reminds me. We had some people already headed there. Those two, huh? We'll ask them to take you there. There was no mistaking it. He smiled like he was harmless while forcing me into the settlement for the ostracized. That's crazy. Wow, okay. So he just straight up was like, ah, you're an outsider. Oh, you have an unfortunate time. I'm still going to quietly hate and discriminate against you, so send you to Yasumizu so we don't have to fucking worry about you, piece of shit. That's so funny. So funny. So, do I have to sign anything? We can take care of that later. I know someone in Tokyo. He can act as a proxy for that. Anyway, you must start with your place of residence. You'd be a bother if you stayed in the officer's post, after all. I'll talk to the ones going there. Don't worry, they're from the city too. Oh, I'll have to tell the locals about you too. I'll be quite busy, but I'm sure I can get it all done by lunch. Anyway, goodbye for now. He one-sidedly ended the conversation and left the post. Nice guy. On the surface, anyway. Yeah. The officer understood the situation and didn't like it, but couldn't go against one of the heads. This was probably why Chimmy said we couldn't trust the police. In Fujiyoshi, even government institutions were only a secondary authority. Yeah, so the officer literally is trying to get us to leave, which is why anything related to Yasumizu is why he would, like, kick you out, because he does not want you to suffer. But now his hands are tied. Anyway, what can I make of this? I didn't actually expect to be sent to Yasumizu. The people here had no interest in harboring outsiders. We weren't welcome. Or maybe they wanted to avoid the initial trouble caused by my immigration by making me live with the ostracized until I got used to the village. Whatever the case, this wasn't something I had a say in, which made it seem really bad. That was probably why the officer was so against it. I could understand that. Higuchi, on the other hand, seemed a bit heavy-handed with all this. I could understand him wanting to set me up with a place quickly, but as someone who knew about the feast, I couldn't help but be suspicious of the timing. Fair point. The mist would come this evening, and he wanted to give Yasumizu a new inhabitant until then. Did Higuchi, ahead of Kama Fujiyoshi, understand what that meant? Fair. Have you ever read Kyoko Hosai's articles? Sorry. I went through a highly familiar exchange and finished my introduction to Hisako Mamiya a second time. Yudai doesn't say a damn thing. Hello, it's nice to meet you. Hello. He was as hard to deal with as always. Buddy, you talked to him once before. Higuchi worked fast, thorough, too. He'd gotten back to me before noon, and before I knew it, I was greeting the ones who'd lead me to my place. Just as I expected, they were the journalists. Higuchi-san said that he already contacted the people in Yasumizu. What about you? Are you ready? Yes, I'm more worried about you, in fact. Oh, we're all right. If we can get there at noon, we won't have to stay hungry for long. I see. So you intended to come later for their convenience? Yes, he said we should avoid coming when the people there are eating. Honestly, I'm wanting to cover their eating environment, so this is a bit of a stroke of luck. Oh, so this probably also had something to do with the people of Fujiyoshi not wanting to show their daily lives to outsiders. They could have just refused them completely, though. Did the journalists have connections that made them impossible to refuse? Or did they want to show what a developed settlement it was? Or maybe they had no intention of letting them go. Unlikely. If they killed anyone from Yasumizu or some nobody like me, they could easily conceal it due to how isolated the location was. But the two journalists had come here to make an article. If something were to happen to them, it'd be certain to draw unwanted attention to the village. On the other hand, if Kama Fujiyoshi's people knew that the feast was near, they probably wouldn't have allowed them here. I think we should head over now. What do you think, Hashimoto-san? Fine. Whoa, he was slow, but he actually communicated with someone. That was rare. Excuse me. So, sorry for the bother, and thank you for having me. No worries. That was the first exchange I shared with him, in his life anyway. Of course, now get in. At least they're nice, but the van started slowly traveling down the thin paved road between the farms. Come to think of it, May was rice planting season. The field had water all over it and didn't display a single weed. It was full of people planting rice seedlings by hand. They're not using machines. Looks like it. The people here don't seem to like modern technology. Combines and tractors aren't that new, if you ask me. I'm impressed they're doing such a good job by hand. I'm not sure they are. That's why the big families here are trying to get heavy machinery for the job. I see. Like Higuchi-san? I heard that the Miguruma were in charge of farming developments. I see. So they have money, huh? Seems so. Not quite sure how that works. Something has to work here? But how do I put this? What I mean to say is the big families are strangely rich for a mountain village with an aging population where the young go work outside. Really? Yes, the Miguruma house was really big. They even had a large foreign car. Yeah, even if it was something that could easily be explained, it was still something to keep in mind. Yu-chan? Yes? The strange nickname Hashimoto-san used surprised me, but Mamiya-san herself didn't seem bothered. You should make too many assumptions. But the journalist within you is curious. It's nothing that big. I think you should just leave it at that. Is that your famous photographer intuition talking? Who knows? Well, alright, this isn't my specialty anyway. Anyway, forget what I said. Yes. Nope. By the way, I heard you're moving here. That's how it turned out. Have you heard about the place you're going to? I didn't, but I can imagine what it's like. My words made her give me a strange look. As in, this probably isn't a good place to live in, it being separate from the main settlement and all. Why do you think that? Few people looked comfortable about how I'd be treated. While Higuchi-san looked less like a nice guy and more like someone who could easily shrug off any guilt his actions would cause him. I see. Don't mind me though, I'm satisfied with where I'm going. Maybe I shouldn't say anything, but it's a really isolated place. I don't know if loving the countryside is enough to bear it. Don't worry, compared to dying in any place it's heavy. Wait, that must sound strange. What an awkward laugh. Apparently they'd been told I'd almost committed suicide. I'm curious though, what kind of place is it? It's special. Gyu-chan? She tried choosing her words carefully, but that made it sound worse than just a place for the ostracized. Hashimoto-shi seemed to be warning her, but she continued talking anyway. I still don't know much, but it's full of people who are unfairly forced to live there. Both the place and the people living there aren't regarded highly here in Kamafuji-yoshi. Think before you go leaking information. I pick and choose who I'm saying this to. This is something a person who's moving there should know. It's only fair. There's something you should say before that, though. Right. Sorry, Fusashi-san. Please keep this off the record. Sure, I won't say a word to the people there. With that in mind, are you sure? You can still go back with us if you change your mind after seeing it. You wouldn't mind, would you, Hashimoto-san? I'll think about it if that's what he wants. Fusashi-san, do you want to leave with us? These two had an interesting relationship. Mamiya-san did all the talking, but Hashimoto-san seemed to outrank her. Hell, though he didn't speak much, everything he said was really well constructed. Made sense, so to speak. While Mamiya-san often became overly excited, Hashimoto-san was strangely stable, and not just in terms of appearance. Wait, this was no time to scrutinize my traveling companions. No, I don't feel like going back to the city anymore. Thank you for the consideration, though. But, Mamiya-san, you're probably saying this as a fellow city dweller, but you realize I'm a pretty shitty character myself, right? I'm just grateful for your help. That's more than enough. I see. Then I won't say anything more. Araki Fusashi-kun, was it? Yes? You really don't look like a guy at the end of his rope. I get that a lot. It must be my carefree attitude. I see. I'm sorry. You know, one of my classmates in middle school committed suicide. He was always so carefree that we couldn't believe he'd done something like that. Guess that's the way it is sometimes. I might have said too much. Recalling the scene at the officer's post, I tried to get back into the character of the poor suicidal man. Hashimoto's not buying your shit. So true. The van slowly ambled onward. We approached a slightly more open space. It seemed to be the center of the village, and it looked like there were small shops there. But as we went on, it started to become even more desolate, and you could see more and more trees growing between the buildings. If that was where Kamafuji-yoshi ended, it was only about 3 kilometers across. If it was about 10 square kilometers inside, it had 100 people for every one of them. The stones I'd seen back in Yasumizu were nowhere in sight. Apparently, they really were Yasumizu exclusive. I could see a large building nearby, and Mamiya-san told me it was the branch school from some nearby town. All students in Fujiyoshi must get their education there before moving on to help in the fields. The smarter ones left to work outside the village upon graduating high school. Those who went from here to college were rare, meaning that at least relative to their locals, Chami was a prodigy. The students from Yasumizu should have been in school this time of day. Once we passed the last residence, we entered an area mostly untouched by human hand. The road led us into an overgrown mountains. There are large stones on each side of the road. Impressive, huh? They're like tories. Tories? Yes, trees inhabited by the birds serving the gods, or a gateway through a sacred boundary. Fujiyoshi worships the mountain, apparently. Oh, Great Lord Shinai. You know about it? Crap. Higuchi-san told me a few things. Anyway, you don't really hear that this mountain is special outside this village, do you? Never even heard of the god Shinai. Going by the kanji, it sounds like it's a monkey god of some sort, but that one is only using calendars and directions. Weren't your articles about food? Oh, sorry, I used to write about the occult. Quickly switched topics because I wasn't keeping food on the table. I feel like the occult is way more interesting than random food stuff. Right? Here's the article about the occult. The journalist might die, but here's all the information. She looked like a typical neat and fashionable career woman, so this was really unexpected. Really? It sounds interesting, though. In this day and age, anyone who wants to read that kind of stuff just uses the internet. Also true, but you can also get your articles online. Clicks. Clicks! Everything in magazines is a lie, and all the real occult info is on the net. That's the general opinion of the people into the cult these days. The piece of the pie that's still around was taken by the leading writers. We newbies didn't have a chance. Now that you mention it, I hadn't seen as many magazines on the occult and the supernatural these days. No idea if that was a good thing, though. Fair. The car passed a large boulder. The road is about to get bumpy. Be careful. Alright. The moment he said that, the car jumped, scaring the crap out of me. If those stones were the mountain's boundary, we were now on Great Lord Shinai's turf. Beyond it, we'd find Yasumizu and Saranaga. The entrance to Yomi was beyond the sacred ground. This religion just kept getting weirder and weirder. Eventually the pavement ended and we were on the gravel road. The grove of trees became a dark forest. It was cloudy, so there wasn't much light to begin with, which only made this place extra creepy. I composed myself. After all, the real creepiness was at the end of this road. We weren't saying a word anymore, and I thought about mundane stuff like the convenience of cars. We went down on the side of the mountain for about 20 minutes and eventually made it through God's narrow road. Beyond the dense forest, there was a relatively open space. We'd arrived at the entrance I passed when Haru-chan escaped the settlement, and I searched for her. There were the same two large stones, and they did a great job telling me that this was some sort of boundary. We're close. I felt like I heard a hint of nervousness in her tone. Were we about to enter a strange realm? Or were we there already there? There was no point thinking about it now. We just passed the gate and... She was. I stared careful not to lose sight of her. Hi, Rikako. Our eyes met. A mysterious red stare, white hair trailing behind her. She looked at the van as we passed. And she fell. Ah, she hit the stone. She hit her head on the stone and is now writhing in pain. Help! Please stop the van! What? Sudden as it was, Hashimoto, she stopped the van. I jumped out and ran to her. Are you alright? Whatever that noise is. What? Did she just bash her head? She was still writhing on the ground with her hands on her head. There's no trace of the divinity and mystery from last time, or just for a moment ago. It hurts. Turn your voice on temporarily, then playing Hua voice line.
Uematsu. Rikako to moushimasu. Omishiri o kikudasai.
This might be loud. What a noise. What a noise to hear. It hurts. I can tell. Who are you? Just a passerby. Who am I? Hold on. I merely wanted to say that. Oh, so you feel up to joking around at least, huh? The pain made me lose my composure for a moment. Her voice is off. I have no idea that is the sound she's making. I mean, fair. Like I said, I'll play through this game a second time and actually hear the voices. Actually, don't I already have to play the game a second time anyway? Because I know last time we talked about this, I was like, oh, because I talked to my roommate Doge, and he was like, oh, I'd be down to join at some points, like in the future, because he has a life and I don't. But I just remembered, don't I already have to play through the game again for, I think there was like some sort of like post-game stuff where you get to listen to the people's like memories of stuff. I could just go through the game again with that. That's possible. The girl, or rather woman, since she was older than me, became red as a tomato right before my eyes. Rikako Uematsu. So you're aware of Revelations? It was said somewhere. I think like the trailer or something like pointed it out. So I don't pay too much attention to trailers. I do like a little bit of like research just to like know if like I need to do post-game stuff or like achievements, but there's no achievements in this game. And obviously I haven't spoiled myself on anything because I try to not do that. Plus I usually have like other people look into it, but I did like check out the trailer because like Liz was telling me to at least see it if it would intrigue me. But do I remember anything from the trailer? Nothing except for like the Revelations thing, I guess is what it's called. Was she an albino? Her skin and hair were pale while her eyes were blood red. Her unusual appearance and manner of speech were exactly as I remembered. But man, where did this playfulness come from? Well, I hadn't spoken to her much last time, so maybe I didn't know her as well as I thought I did. Are you okay? Be honest. My late mother said that pain is proof you are well. Hey, that depends on the situation. Excuse me. Slightly hesitant, I reached out for her head, gently touched it, and examined the damage. Ow. Oh, Oh, you're bleeding a bit. That's gonna leave a bump. You should take it easy for a while. Are you a doctor? No, this sort of thing is common knowledge. From the look of the wound, it isn't that bad, is it? Are you okay? Yes, but having my hair touched like that makes me feel a bit odd. She likes head pats. Write that down, write that down. She likes head pats. I rather like the feeling, but I'm uncertain how I should respond. Was the skin on her head sensitive or something? Physical intimacy with the first villager you meet. Not bad, Fusashi-kun. What are you saying? Let's just be real. Let's just be real.
そうね。
Let's just be real. Let's just.
茶髪の男が上松様を手ごめにしよる。
I mean, that's I get the feeling that's supposed to be a jump scare, especially if you have voices on, but like videos for this are fantastic. We'll see them. The brown-haired man is trying to take Uematsu-sama. Out of nowhere came the old lady. No, I'm not. Listen, I mean, lady, Uematsu-sama here slipped and hit her head, so I just... what horrible things did this hoodlum do to you, Uematsu-sama? How awful. She wasn't listening at all. This is hurting. Everything's shaking. Feeling a bit stupid for worrying so much about her, I explained what happened and cleared up the misunderstanding. My apologies for the trouble. The ones to blame are the ones who misunderstood. Sorry. Now, Uematsu-sama, you should come and rest at home. No need to worry about me, Yamawaki-san. Nosato-sama is in Yasumizu right now. I'll call him. We could take you. Yes, please do. Now, this was unusual. She hated outsiders, but she couldn't say no to Hashimoto-san's presence. Uematsu-san, was it? Are you sure you don't have to go to the hospital? We have a doctor here. Really? That's good then. We'll give you a hand. Want to get on? Apologies for the trouble. Sorry, Fusashi-kun. You're stuck with the back. It was full of equipment, though. I could walk. Don't. I've been talking nonchalantly, but her response was a stern one. Well, it was true I could have caused some serious trouble if I arrived completely alone. I knew this from my experience arriving via Saranaga. Also, I wasn't supposed to be familiar with the area, so I had to avoid looking suspicious. My apologies, it's fine. Don't worry about it. No, I mean, I am Rikako Uematsu. Rikako is in Plumflower, and Uematsu is in Spin and End. Oh, right, we haven't properly introduced ourselves. Haruaki Fusashi, Fusa from Kitchen and Ishi from Stone Tools, and Haruaki from the Japanese for Neo-Confucianism. Huh? Haruaki Fusashi? Meetings every damn time he says his name. I'm starting to notice that now. I feel like she didn't get it at all. Anyway, thanks to that, I became an inhabitant of the back seat and a fellow passenger alongside Rikako Uematsu. For a brief moment anyway, we didn't speak much. The only noteworthy thing was the strange smell of dried aromatic wood she brought along. Besides that, I was just struggling to keep my seat as we jostled down the bumpy road. Leaving a trail on the unpaved road, we arrived and drove through Yasumizu. I passed the front of the Nosato mansion, then the construction site, Teisan's house probably, until finally we arrived at the plaza. By the time we got there, Uematsu-san seemed to be in perfect health and apologized profusely for the trouble she'd caused. I thought it would be best if she took care of the wound on her head. Mamiya-san and I went alongside her and took her to the house she was living in. It was the same place where she lost her mind and the rest of us had barricaded her in. Now then, I shall wait for Nosato-sama just in case. Take care. Yes, Fusashi-sama, I will surely make it up to you. Oh, don't worry about that. Hey, it's Meiko! Whoa, I completely forgotten about Uematsu-san's extra. Oh, who's this girl? You did not see her yesterday? She wandered into Yasumizu 2 days ago. Oh, from Kamafujiyoshi. I could drive her back if you want. No, she... why not ask someone else? Rikako-san needs to rest. There's so much... Oh, what? You have a point. Then we'll be leaving now. What about this girl? Meiko. Uematsu-san called to Meiko and brought her inside. A stronger smell began wafting from the building. Maybe they were burning incense. She's cute, isn't she? Yeah. Her attire combined with her appearance makes her look just mystifying. Attire? You didn't notice? While it's in the style of a Shinto shrine maiden uniform, the dark coloration is clearly Buddhism influenced. It's clearly religious garb. I never expected a place so remote to have its own religion. How exciting! It's good to be enthusiastic about your work, but there are limits to how far you should pry, don't you think? Man, everyone seemed to just appear out of nowhere this time. Oh, Sato-san, I'm sorry. Are you here to treat Uematsu-san? Mamiya-san gave a confident journalistic smile and spoke to Kiyonosuke no Satoshi. Yes, if you're aware of that, then please clear the way. And who is this man? Oh, so he is a doctor. Interesting. Good to know. Oh, he's Haruaki Fusashi-san. Higuchi-san sent him to live here. Huh? Hello, I hope we get along. You're not from Fujiyoshi, are you? Nope, I'm not. Things happened, I left Tokyo and ended up here. What's Higuchi thinking? You have my sympathy, though. Anyway, I'm off. I'm coming in, Rikaku-san. Sympathy, huh? As condescending as always. But he's not super hateful. You didn't recognizing poisonous plants? I mean, would a doctor know that? Like a toxicologist, maybe. But like... I mean, it depends on his practice. If he's a general practitioner... Sorry, I don't know why I'm thinking this. It's my previous medical experience. Holy shit. He's from a remote village. He's going to be used to all the plants that's around and just all the stuff that happens around. I don't know why I'm overthinking that. Like, my brain immediately went to like, oh yeah, so he could be a general practitioner, it could be like orthopedics, or he could be like spine's so weird, because I used to do like scheduling for orthopedic assistant surgeons, and like a lot of it was orthopedics, but then they would do like spine and then still say orthopedics, but I don't think spine's orthopedics. I think spine's just spine. So I always got fucking confused. And it's because he's from here, it checks out he recognizes local threats. True. But I feel like that'd also be the same for like a lot of people, right? Like a lot of people from the area would be like used to it. I know Tay was used to it. Sorry, my brain goes into... Sorry, I'm a little hungry. I found this out during the orientation of my new job today, which is why I'm not streaming on Mondays right now, is because like shifts and everything and time of work and so on and so forth. But when I was there, I kind of realized the more I talked, the more like everything I said was pretty much rooted back to previous jobs. I've worked a total of, I think, 9 or 10 previous jobs to this one I'm currently working at right now. Like everything that I would say would be like, well, because of my background in this, well, because of my background in this. And I just was like, man, cool that I'm a jack of all trades, but this must be annoying for people to listen to. And then I'm realizing that, we talked about it when I played Sea of Thieves, is like a lot of just my like general knowledge comes from my work, from like previous work. So whenever like doctor or like anything medical is related, my brain's like previous work, orthopedic, this, scheduling stuff, working with the assists and like trying to fucking so much shit. and then I think about it, I'm like, but this is a video game. Don't overthink it, kid. Come on. So, gosh. It's gonna be bad when we play Valhalla Cyberpunk bartending simulator again, or whatever it's called. Because that's another one that Doge wants to play through. And because I used to be a bartender, I'm gonna just start talking about a whole bunch of shit. Anyway, after parting ways with him, we returned to the plaza. Hashimoto-san was taking photos of a small flower nearby. I can imagine that someone told him to not take photos of the houses. We were the only ones here, and I couldn't hear anything but the wind. It was strangely quiet. Like always, this place is... She fell silent before finishing her derisive comment. Wise move. Wouldn't be good to finish that comment by comparing the place to a ghost town. Let's go then. You're going to the dining hall, right? Yes. Despite having next to nothing to do with me, Mamiya-san was helping me out a lot. Then again, she was heading there too. Oh, I've been waiting for you. You're Fusashi-san, yes? And hello to you too, Jose-san and Hashimoto-san. Hello. Hello, hello. It took a lot to keep myself from saying hello, hello, hello. There. Higuchi-san sent me here. Pleasure to meet you. Koji Higuchi had pushed me into working at the dining hall here. Not the watering hole, but the dining hall. He strongly emphasized that it wasn't under his control. That was why it had been decided to meet Kaori-san. Ah, yes. She had an overcomposed, slightly haggard face, and I couldn't see a hint of the demon from before. Apparently, if it was for their children, some parents could become both demons and angels. Kind of felt like that applied to the entire history of mankind, for better or worse. My, you're well behaved for someone so young. Oh no, I'm just a failure. Oh, come now. But are you sure you want to, you know? It's fine, many people say otherwise, but this is a nice place. It is, but I don't know if you've been told, but this dining hall is more like a ration distribution house. This is hard for me to say, but you won't be paid. The most we could offer is meals. I don't mind. If I could live in a simple life, I don't need money. My. Heh, what are you, an old fart? Hey, this asshole. Suddenly Yoshitsugu Oribe-kun walked through the door, displaying the same recklessness that probably got him killed last time. Yoshitsugu, why are you not in school? Shut it. I said I ain't going. Hey, you fucking zombie. Heard you came here because you couldn't die. That's some lame. Yoshitsugu, how dare you? Oh, word spread fast around here. They called and told Kaori-san about it, then she told it to several other people, and it probably leaked. Yeah, I'm so lame. The hell? You okay upstairs? I can't say I am. I'm an idiot. Hey, Hag, don't hire this guy. He'll mess up the place. I don't want to hear that from someone who doesn't go to school or help around. Shut up. Hey, you brown-haired dumbass. You seriously came here to die, or is that an act or something? I twitched. As if. He knows. Hey, Hag, guy's weird as hell. My name isn't Hag. I know I have nothing to do with this, but you should keep your joking around to a minimum. Sorry, I just felt like we'd be living together for a long while, so I ought to be as friendly as possible. Yoshitsugu-kun, was it? Want to make a bet? Huh? What kind of bet, you coward? Looked into my large bag and took something out. Specifically, a new pocket knife. Use this to cut off my pinky. Everyone instantly fell silent. I ignored them and continued. Come on, I'll put my hand down and I'll put the knife right here. The hell you'd say? I'm saying I'll let you shorten my finger as a sign of our friendship. I'm saying that's insane. Hell, that's something you do yourself. You're making me do this because you can't do it yourself, huh? You really are a coward, huh? I could do it myself, but this is a bet and a test of courage. If you're going to call me a coward, you got to show you're not one yourself, right? Swing the knife down and you win, and if I don't back out, I win. That means that if you cut off my finger, we both win. Then we'd be friends with no hassle involved. What do you think, Yoshitsugu-kun? Araki, what the fuck, bro? I smiled and pointed at the knife on the table with my finger. Holy shit! This man's got bigger balls than a fucking rhino. The hell are you talking about? Are you nuts? That's pretty much all you're saying now, but yeah, I really am nuts. Or what, you prefer normal people? You, who looks like that and gives no respect to his mother. I prefer weird people, you see. Show me how insane you can get. Man, this was just too much fun. Yoshitsugu-kun looked right about ready to shit his pants, but it was time to back off. Gotcha. What a shame, huh, Yoshitsugu-kun? I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do something that hurt that much. Well, even if we can't get along now, we'll be friends eventually. I actually think that helps. Jokes aside, it was actually pretty sharp. He and his brother were nothing alike, but it wouldn't be surprising if he also had a talent for seeing through people. He had Higuchi blood in his veins, after all. Perhaps it was genetic. He left without saying another word. Kaori-san didn't even tell him to go to school. I'm sorry, that was weird, wasn't it? No, my stupid son had it coming. That shocked me a bit, though. You have nerve, don't you? No, I don't. I'm the one who called it off, so I lost. He probably would have done it if I kept pushing him. After all, he was the type who'd pick a fight with something inhuman and die. He probably didn't want to draw blood in front of his mother. I think he's a good kid at heart. My words almost made Kaori-san smile, but I do feel embarrassed. He grew too big for me to handle, and all I could do is scold him. She decided to keep up the act of a strict mother. Puberty and rebellion sure seemed complicated. Fushigi-kun, come here for a sec. I did just that. Are you actually one of those kind of people? Did they send someone after you? Would it be over if they caught you? Huh? No, I suggested the finger thing for no real reason. Trust me, I won't trouble the people here. I hope so. She was actually suspicious. I had to act out a better normal person. This wasn't the time to mess around. Anyway, I'm here to help with anything. Use me however you like. Oh, very well. This was decided by those up there anyway, but before that, I wonder where you'll be staying. I kind of expected them to be already decided on that. I'm going to go introduce myself to everyone. Who should I ask about that? The one in charge of the land is Yamawaki-san. The old lady from before. She lives in one of the houses we passed. But yeah, when Takumi-san gave me the key to my dorm room, he told me he got it from the old lady. Was she like the landlord of Yasumizu? Maybe she's not too far? Like visiting Uematsu-san or something? Oh, did something happen? She fell and hit her head, and I left that talk to Mamiya-san and opened the door so I could see the plaza. By the time I realized that someone else was on the other side, it was fully open. Seeing the person's face only made me say her name in surprise. It's Chiemi! We don't know that, but it's Chiemi! It's the girl! Unfortunately, she doesn't know Haruaki. Bro. Bro, your girlfriend. Chemi Serizawa. I couldn't save her. You did kiss her, though. You did good, buddy. You did good. I couldn't fulfill my promise. But we met again, thanks to the strange looping phenomenon. Whether it was something to feel thankful about was another matter. Nice to meet you. I kept my surge of emotions under control and gave an amicable smile. But, just as she made that simple sound, a lone tear ran down her cheek. She knows. She knows about the loops. Oh. Or maybe subconsciously. She knows. Ooh. The plot thickens. Sorry, I see this and that's my immediate reaction. It's either possible she doesn't know the loops exist, but like subconsciously her mind still remembers it. Once again, she is the smartest out of everyone who's there. So, and there's a lot more to her than meets the eye. So I wouldn't be surprised if she already knew about the loops, but it's possible she doesn't and subconsciously something's happening. Oh, do I have something in my eye? Her voice was calm, but the first tear made way more for many more, and they were sort of shimmering from both eyes. What? Kari-san, do you have a hand towel? Her reaction didn't seem to be anything more than confusion at her body going out of control. Oh my, what's wrong? Here you go. I don't know. Do you have any tear gas here or something? Perhaps the Shinshinare. What the fuck? Shinshinare I'm making for the journalist is rotten. Hey, didn't mean that. What is it then? Menopause? Come now, you're too young for that. Sorry for acting weird. She wiped her tears. Her eyes didn't look good, but her voice was cheerful and carefree, just like in my memory. Morning, War. How are you doing? You're the person who suddenly ended up living here, right, mister? That was a word he used on strangers. Why had she cried? Fucking, it's so obvious. Okay. Yes. Am I that scary? No. You look perfectly fine. It's just, well, a mysterious event. Got something jump starting? Hope it's going well. Yeah, first day was pretty chill. This orientation was, I drive an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back. So, I know I had to wake up at 5 in the morning. So, fun stuff, but should be good. My name is Chemi Serizawa. I'm a student back home for the time being. I know I made a poor first impression, but I hope we can get along. She bowed to me. She really didn't know who I was. I think subconsciously she does, though. Due to the looping phenomena, dying had sent me back to the point where I was wandering around on my bike. It was something that actually happened. I had to accept it, but it was also completely unreasonable. I didn't have any good way to reasonably explain it. Was the looping centered around me? Was I really the only one who had memories of last time? No. Well, okay, hold on. What a fucking question. What a fucking question. Oh my God. No way. No way. I'm so scared that the idea that I had where I was just like, oh, you know, this would make for a good game. This would make for a good story. That would be fun. What if that's actually the story about this? No way. If that's the case, this might be one of my favorite games ever. This might be like one of my favorites. If that actually is the case, that would be so fucking cool. Oh my gosh. Just past 5 in the morning here. It does suck, especially in winter. Fair point. Fair point. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to drive if I have to drive long distances in the winter here. Was the looping centered around me? Sorry, that line. Oh my God. Okay, so like, here's what I'm thinking though when it comes to this. I'm guessing that some people are probably aware that a loop is existing, but some are cognizant of it, like Haruaki, and some might be subconscious about it, like Chiemi. I'm guessing that maybe Mako. I'm going to say Mako because of them. I'm going to say because the 3 of them almost escaped. All 3 of them should be like more or less aware of the loops, I'm guessing. That's like my theory in that case. But like Tei didn't recognize Haruaki, which that tells me that the wolves of that time didn't remember anything. So interesting. God, I'm gonna be if this game has the same idea that I had just randomly in a dream, that's gonna be fucking hilarious. It wouldn't be strange for there to be someone else. My memories are fragmented right now, and I often remembered things only when it counted. It could be that the others had forgotten almost everything, but still had certain fragments of their memories and feelings. This is about to be fucking 11 out of 12 game. Or 11 out of 10, excuse me. I had to stop thinking about this. I couldn't have asked her to console me about the tragic end that hadn't even happened yet. I'd have been barking up the wrong tree. If everything worked out, I hoped I can get close to her again. Love that depended on death, despair, and the suspense bridge effect was better off staying in the realm of fiction where it belonged. Am I, like, I know this is my stream and everything, but I feel like I should ask, because we did this with Nosha, we did this with a few other things. Am I able to guess what some of these keys are? I know I tried guessing everyone's role before, and I only got Tay right. But like, here's my hypothesis, okay? Here's my hypothesis. This is a guess. I'm letting everyone know this is a guess. I literally do not know. Hence why I got so many people wrong on this first note card, except for Tay. I'm thinking that Lock 20, her objective is because that's like hanging out with Chiemi when you go across the other path. So I'm going to say that her objective, I'm going to say key 20, has to do with Chiemi being aware of the loops. And us knowing that. Which means 3, 8, 19, and 20, which is hiding in the outhouse, means being aware that Chiemi, so it's probably being aware that Chiemi knows about the loops. I would say being aware of who the wolf is in this particular case. 3 and 8. I would say one of them is knowing exactly what to do in order to enter the game as an outsider in the outhouse. Oh wait, no, this is choosing where to hide, isn't it? Because follow the scream is the one. Okay, so here's my hypothesis. I think for these 4 locks, you need to know who the wolf is before it shows up. Chiemi needs to be aware of the loops. And I would say you'd also need to know of another place you could potentially stay, and then the factors in order to get yourself into the feast as an outsider. That's my guess. Once again, I would just like to say it's a guess. Please do not tell me otherwise. We did the same thing for pretty much every visual novel I've done. I don't know why I was asking, hey, can I guess? But I do it anyway, so. Anyway, we exchanged a few words, but I didn't have much time. I had to focus on getting a place to stay. Anyway, just like I said, I first went to Uematsu-san's house. Obviously, it didn't seem like there were many people inside. I hesitated for a moment, but ended up knocking. Who is it? That was Mako's voice. Could she even understand me? I'm Fusashi from before. Fusashi from before, son? No, I'm Haruaki Fusashi. Is the old lady there? No. Oh, so I was off the mark. Alright, see ya then. Yeah, wait. Oni-chan, Fusaki-san? Fusayuki-san. Wrong. Please wait a moment. Oh, Uematsu-san? She told me to wait, so I did. Soon enough, the door opened up. I apologize for the wait. How may I help you? I'm looking for Yamawaki-san. From how she acted, I thought she came to visit you. I haven't seen her yet. Looks like it. I'll be going then. Oh, what did you need her for? Well, I'm going to live here now, but I still don't have a place. You will live here? Yes, and I need to talk about that. It's like, oh my gosh, what does this hua sound like? Somebody says fue a lot. Fue! Who? There's an anime character that says fue a lot. don't remember who. It's not from Nikkei. It's not from Blue Archive. Who says Fway a lot? I'm seem to remember like a game that we played that like whenever they panicked, they just said Fway or something, like a noise that I guess sounded like that. I don't know what game was that? Was it one that I played with Doge? I don't remember. Sorry. What did she mean by this? But you cannot be without a place to stay. Yeah. Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. That made me flinch. Did it show my face? The people of Fujiyoshi believe that the mist is an ill omen. If it comes, we must clean our bodies, shut ourselves in, and go to sleep early. Yep. Thanks for warning us. Cleanse, shelter, dream. That's an interesting tradition. That was what I would have thought if I didn't know about the tragedy. This might be a bit presumptuous, but I do know of one empty house. Huh? She told Mako to entertain herself and took a key from her house. Instead of telling me more about it, she insisted on going outside despite my polite protests. I had no choice but to follow after. We passed the plaza and went down the hill. She tripped 2 times. It hurts. So, she's literally like... So her character is super dignified, but also just extremely clumsy. Like the cute clumsy. I get it. Looks like it. I fall and hurt my head on the regular, so I'm used to the pain. You really shouldn't walk around grass like this in that attire. This is a Nuimatsu duty. It is. The spider are bedroom woman servants. Huh? That was a new term. Bedroom woman servants. Women who serve you in the bedroom? That sure sounded sexy. Is she saying she's a prostitute? I hope not. Maid? Maybe she's a maid? That would be more likely. But specifically in the bedroom, that kinda... Yeah. The spider was one of the guardians of Great Lord Shinai. That reminded me, Chimi had told me that the Uematsu were the family of the spider. When the power Yomi rises from Saranaga, it is said to bring madness first and foremost. That was why the Uematsu of old had the role of protecting the dreams of the villagers. Were they like night watchmen or something? It wouldn't have been weird for a police-like force to still retain power in this day and age. But you'd follow the time at night, so you walk around during the day instead, huh? Was she alright? When we play this game with Doge, I'm having Doge voice, like, read that every single time. The seamstress is killed. Oh, jeez. By the way, do all the heads of the village have roles like that? Yes, I'm surprised you noticed. I came here through Kamifujiyoshi, and Higuchi-san, well, he looked pretty powerful. The Higuchi family are the monkey, protectors of the watering hole's flame. There's that term again, watering hole. They used fire when it wasn't allowed, huh? Yes, we are told they claim to run a watering hole, while in actuality we're teaching people to use fire. And they use this to gain influence as the source of everyone's food. What about Nosato-san's family? They're one of the head families too, aren't they? Nosato are the crow, the eve-eaters. I have no idea what that means. They inspect if a corpse belonged to a Yombito or not. They performed autopsies? That didn't seem very important. They were actually the healers. They were the only ones who could use aconite, also known as wolfsbane. Nosato is the family that made medicine. Wolfsbane, the plant. There's aconite in the food. Oh yeah, that was true. Well, an autopsy was a medical procedure, and if they could use poisonous plants on top of it, they could have easily garnered lots of respect. I see. What was the last one? The Meguruma. Right, I hadn't met a single person linked to that one. The snake are the tower lookouts. The Uematsu aren't the lookout family. That doesn't give me enough. Tower, as in watchtower. So they're in charge of the military here? No, they used to build watchtowers and watch the stars. They made calendars, read the weather, and led the local farms. That role made them respected, and they eventually became Shinai-sama's priests. I see. We had our TV weather ladies now, but back in the day, astronomy and meteorology were linked to divination, leading many to consider them special powers that led them to predict the future and bring good things in general. Farming was the building block of civilization. Having it was a matter of life and death, so it was not only natural for those who offered guidance in that field to become leaders. Thank you for telling me. This place has a rich history, huh? I think I could grow attached to it. I see. This is the first time I've heard such words spoken. Really? It's pretty interesting, though. I never explained this to someone born outside of Fujiyoshi. Alright, she'd refused to go into detail last time. Infiltrating the village really was a good idea, huh? Oh look, we have gone all the way. Here it is. Yeah, we really did go all the way, huh? Sure takes a lot out of you. My dude. My dude. My dude. Save that for sorry, what? She's about to go. Oh, damn it. No, we did not do anything strange. Her speech was still odd, and what the hell was up with her imagination? She could send my verbal curveballs to another dimension. Anyway, there was a wooden house. It was much like the ones near the plaza, except a bit more aged. It looks relatively stable, though. Most of Fujiyoshi is actually the private property of the Higuchi, the Nosato, and the Uematsu. Fujiyoshi used to be owned by the Megurama alone, but now that extends to all the current heads serving the Meguruma. That was new to me. So you're saying this place belongs to you, Rikako-san? What? Oh, sorry for being so forward with you. No, I do not mind, but yes, this land is mine. A person lived here until recently. So has he passed away or something? Yes, it was a peaceful death. That sounded like a real blessing here in Yasumizu. Does that bother you? It is clean inside. I'd have been lying if I said I wasn't bothered, but I chose to take a look. She hadn't been kidding. The inside was shabby and the wood was aged, but the floor was clean and I couldn't see much dust. The tatami was new too, though that meant it had to be changed. But at least there wasn't some human-shaped mark on the floor. There was no furniture, but I could easily get a futon or something. What about the bath? I do not think this place receives gas. That's bad. What can I do if the mists come? You wish to be able to cleanse? You merely have to fill that pail with well water and wipe yourself with it. Buddy, you just casually bringing up the mists? Oh, because she'd said it. Never mind, never mind, never mind. That's enough? Yes, I hear it was rare to bathe in warm water in Fujiyoshi. Oh yeah, because only the watering hole could use fire. Yes, that made sense. Anyway, I was now ready. Are you sure I could use this house? Yes, that would make all the daily cleaning worth it. Huh? You clean this place yourself? Yes, because taking in the corruption is one of the Uematsu's roles. Also, keeping myself occupied served as a good distraction. Did something bad happen? She fell silent. Sorry, that was insensitive of me. No, it was not that something happened. I was afraid of what could happen. She looked at the mountain beyond the valley. No, it was the valley itself and the Saranaga Rapids at the bottom. Back to the heads. Did the Meguruma still predict the weather and stuff? Part of me thought I might be prying too deeply. During spring and autumn festivals, they ask for abundant harvests, dance for them, and chant ritual prayers. I heard that this was supposed to be based on what they did in the past. Thankfully, I had no major droughts or famines. Oh, so in a way, they have a perfect track record. Yamawaki-sama knows this well. You might wish to ask her. She would be pleased to talk. That seemed true. Oh, sorry for taking up so much of your time, Uematsu-san. Thank you so much. I'll make it up to you. Fucking hell, dude. That's gonna take some time getting used to for the joke. Oh my gosh, I think Doja's asleep by now, or he's about to be. God, I could have him. I totally could just be like, voice clip, go. I also merely wanted to thank you for your help during my embarrassing accident. Wasn't she basically blaming me here? Lots of things happened already, but I hope we could keep getting along well. If you think I can help, don't be afraid to ask. Fusashi-sama. Oh, and Sama doesn't suit me. You could be more casual. You don't have to use such polite speech. Crap. Fusashi, I can't. Fusashi-sama, I would like to ask of you the same. Please call me however you like. Was I actually raising some flags here? Was the game this easy these days? Did she seriously fall in love over a bit of help after a head injury? Was this a soap opera or something? You have Chiemi. Listen, I'm in Team Chiemi camp, okay? Chiemi for life. Well, not that I was complaining. Then, Rikako-san. No, this was something else. She was just especially vulnerable to men. I mean, bedroom woman servants. As a family head, she was probably either revered from a distance or considered an enemy. Takumi did the latter. She probably never talked to someone who didn't care about those things. That actually made me feel kind of bad for her. Okay, let's call each other Matsu-san and Fusashi-san. Let's become good friends. Friends. Yes, I'd love that. In a part of the village with no one but us, we exchanged a deep bow. Uematsu-san then returned, and I checked the house for any holes. It seemed fine on that front. No monsters could get inside. Anyway, I had my place. Now I had to get one for Mamiya-san and Hashimoto-san. Ooh, true. I tried to think of a way to encourage them to leave before the mist came, but all the things I could think of seemed unnatural. That meant my only option was the opposite, convincing them there was no way to leave so they'd have to stay. Honestly, I did consider just letting them die. As long as I survived, I didn't really care if they did. Damn! Fucking ruthless! That's so fucking ruthless. Holy hell. Holy hell. Yeah, they could fucking die, I don't care. Also, you want Shimmy to survive too. But that didn't sit right with me. I wasn't a good guy, but not doing whatever I could right now seemed careless. My ultimate goal was to escape the loops, but at the moment, all I could really do was prevent the tragedy before me. I'd think of something else if it just didn't work out, but for now I had no reason to abandon my humanity. That was why I returned to the plaza. It was still really empty, and the two journalists were probably working. This was my chance. I approached the left back wheel of Hashimoto-shi's van. Reaching into my bag, I pulled out the hammer and nails I brought. Oh, he still has it. Okay. I placed the tip of a nail against the tire and hammered it in. I hear the sound of air leaving. That had to be good enough. I then did the same with the other rear tire, as well as one of the front ones. There. It's fucking sneaky as shit. After that, I added a random array of extra nails around those to make it look like a trap or something had been run over in the grass. They couldn't leave now. I already knew they didn't have anything that could fix the tires, and they couldn't get in touch with any road service until after the mist passed. If someone from Kamafuji came to pick them up, and they left without their car, they would have been fine too. Not that I expected anyone to come. Now I just had to convince them they had to stay here. It was a really haphazard plan. It seemed like the locals trapped them on purpose. I'd have to think of something to say about that. Anyway, I did what I could for them. Now I just had to wait and... Musashi-sama. Whoa, whoa, whoa. My heart almost burst out of my chest. What's the matter, Rikaku-san? That name again. I'm sorry, what's wrong, Uematsu-san? I'm hungry, so I came to eat. That, huh? Well, I was pretty hungry myself, too. Wait, there's something more important to worry about. Had she seen me? This is a large car. It is. What the hell was up with this pressure? Was it some Kamafuji head's superpower? Was she waiting for me to confess or something? I had no choice but to think up a new lie. But looking at her red eyes made me feel like she'd see through any bullshit I spun. Crap, maybe I should just come clean and... I am hungry. Was she actually not thinking anything? What do you think I was doing here? Huh? Searching for woodlice? Did she think I was as old as Mako? No, look here. It's flat. Oh dear. See? It's got this inside. So long and thick. Look how deep this is. Oh dear, how forceful. This girl does not understand innuendos to save her life. Eee! The brown-haired man is taking her once to summer in broad daylight. Tay. Man, what the hell was with her appearances this time around? Okay, yeah, I couldn't lie. This conversation was pretty messed up. That's an outrageous misunderstanding. I'll go call for the journalists. What? You've got to be kidding me. Misako-san was completely perplexed. Now this is troubling. I still couldn't read his expression, but I could totally sympathize with someone being basically stranded in a place like this. How unfortunate. Yo. Wow, that's so quiet. There we go. What up, Lily? Thank you so much for the raid. How's it going? What up, Conga? Long time no see. I didn't know you streamed, Lily. Am I just out of the loop? I guess I haven't, like, been on that side of content and such in a while. How was your stream? What were you streaming? Hey, what up, here existing? Welcome, welcome. I'm doing pretty good. Y'all joined a very interesting. I just started streaming. This was stream 4. Nice, nice. How you liking it? How's it going? Yeah, what up, y'all? Y'all have joined in on a very weird stream. It's only a recent thing. Makes sense, makes sense. Well, just to introduce myself for those who don't know, my name is Katathi. I'm a variety streamer here on Twitch as well as on YouTube. We're doing multi-streaming, essentially. And, sorry, I have... Give me 1 second. So something like pricking my nail. I just tore it out. That hurt. That's fine. But yeah, I'm a variety streamer. play a bunch of different games. How do I explain this? Welcome to Raging Loop. This is a visual novel about the game Werewolf, or Mafia, or I guess you could also consider it Town of Salem 2. It's pretty crazy. Time to remove werewolf in a rural Japanese village? Yeah, exactly. It's really chill. Well, thank you. I try to be chill. I try to be. But yeah, if it's a very interesting game. I highly recommend though watching from like the start to kind of explain what's going on. It's weird if you kind of like jump in the middle of it because a lot of stuff has already happened. This is the third stream we've done to this game. So, loving the hair color. Thank you. Thank you. I gotta get it re-dyed. I was talking about it earlier. I might dye it to, because it's starting to fade. So once I get probably like my first 2 paychecks or something, I might dye it sky blue again. So good stuff. But yeah, a lot of reading though, so I'll try to catch up on chat when I can. But thank you for the raid once again. I appreciate it. Let me make sure I follow you though. Because if you just started streaming, I wanna support. Oh shoot. Curly got part of mine purple. Nice. Oh, you were playing Sea of Thieves. Let's go. Yo, Sea of Thieves is always a good time. Always a good time. Love Sea of Thieves so much. Have you experienced anyone who's been glitching the new season? I'm just curious. Anyway, continuing on here with the story. How unfortunate. They weren't suspicious of me, so I just acted like an innocent, sympathetic bystander. Oh, the heartache. We were supposed to head back tonight. What are we going to do? Do you have any plans? I'm fine, but what about you? My daughter's birthday is close. Dude fucking died. A couple of my friends had some glitchy moments. The Burning Blade is so much fun. True. Haruaki is not participating in the werewolf game. Kissed a girl who literally fell apart of him and died. He has died so many hearty deaths. Very true. Very true. That does bring people like, if you're joining in here in the middle, it kind of brings you up to speed, but I more so recommend watching the other streams to like get fully caught up. Because it just briefly explaining it does not do this game justice. There's loop back to start. Try to actually participate in the game of Werewolf this time. True. Had some glitchy moments. So what I was talking about, Lily, we might see it on Thursday or Friday. It kind of depends. There's apparently a way to continually give your ship rituals over and over again to get to like a few hundred. There's a lot of lore and shenanigans. Yep, I'm looking forward to more of it. Figure out the hard way. You can still shoot fire even after you defeat it before you sink if that's the path you chose. Interesting. Dude, seeing Hashimoto saying his daughter's birthday is close is like so depressing for this, like, for the left loop right here. It's so depressing. Oh, Nami-chan. Oh, the heartache. I had no idea he had a daughter or was married, or for that matter. The fact that it came as a surprise just made my pain worse. But I shouldn't feel guilty about this. If I just ignore them, then they have been torn apart by a monster. Do not death flag this mountain of a man. Too late. Listen, it already happened on the left side. He's fine, Cyber. He's fine. Oh my, what do we do? Yasumizu has no cars in the first place. Nosatu-sama might have something useful. Those words made me twitch. These tires are special, so that would be difficult. We do have a single spare, but... Let's contact road service. Oribe-san, may we use the phone? Yes, of course. Right this way. They'll return to the dining hall. I have a bad feeling about this. You shouldn't have a bad feeling. We just saved 2 lives and potentially cost somebody else theirs. I was left alone with a peculiar duo, but then we were joined by a muscly silhouette who came from the fields. Takumi! What are you doing, Oba-chan? Uematsu, who the fuck are you? This is Haruaki Fusashi-sama. She went out of her way to introduce me, though she still couldn't leave off the sama. I'm moving here. I hope we get along. Oh, you're the guy, huh? I'm Takumi Mura. Pleasure. You don't look like you're from Kamafujiyoshi. An outsider then? That's rare. Sorry you ended up here. They really had to do something about their habit of showing sympathy for anyone who came here. Catchment gets too long, I guess. Who knows? We'll see. Yes, I came here from the city. I'm sorry I'm so suspicious and flashy. I'll re-dye my hair. Alright. That'd be good. Well, she hates that sort of thing. I don't really care, though. I care more about something else. As in? If you're useful in the field, unlike Kamafujiyoshi, Yasumizu doesn't abandon its people, but we don't have room for those who can't earn their keep. While mentioning Kamafuji Yoshi, he glanced at Uematsu-san. Well, you look like you have the build for it. You can start by mowing the grass around the upper fields. But I was told to work at the dining hall. What? You're working with Kaori-san? That's right. He's... But you gotta remember, Haraki, Takumi is crushing on Kaori. Oh, damn. Yeah, I'm gonna be living with you. By the way, everyone's like, why didn't you fucking leave? Man, everyone's the same. Crap, I messed up. Takumi, you're fine, man. Just tell her how you feel. What do you mean? I'm not thinking anything that outrageous. When she supports 2 grown sons and feeds everyone here with her frail arms, I'm gonna kill any guy that tries to take advantage of her. That was plenty outrageous. Hey, what did you do to get her to take you? Spill it. It took a lot of effort to keep myself from lying and fueling the fire. Oh, Kuchi-san from Kamafuji Yoshi, right? He sent me to work with her. She became apathetic. Oh, I guess that's fine then. I'll try to become able to work outside too. That's great and all, but for now, just watch. If we made you do too much, they might get out on our cases about it. Huh? They care about what kind of work people do here? They don't. They just want to be sure we listen to them. So what are you up to? Where's Kaori-san? The journalist's car broke, so she went to make a call. Huh? That's pretty bad. Can they leave? It's best to assume they won't have it fixed today. Awful. This was getting nowhere. Do you have any open rooms? That house was the only one I could give. Uematsu-sama, you gave Gen-san's house to him? Yes, houses die if people do not live in them. Take care of that house, will ya? A good person used to live there. I hope we learn more about them, honestly. Of course. Don't you dare use it as a place where you take advantage of Uematsu-sama. That cannot happen to her, understand? Why are you suddenly super protective of her? You weren't this protective last time. Like, the fuck is going on here? Sorry, have to. What? You two are like that? It's a complete misunderstanding, but it seems to keep being taken as fact. I'd appreciate it if it wasn't. I'm trying to date Chiemi-san, actually. Or Chiemi-chan. Went off on a tangent. What do we do? I'd have liked it if I, the newbie, didn't have to be the one making this conversation progress. I really don't think it's good if outsiders stay in Yasumizu. Neither side will like it. Ba-chan, you got any free houses? The one I gave Mako-chan was the last one. The rest had holes or didn't have walls. They can't even shelter in those. Liar, there's a room in the dorm. Oh. You sure slept for long. Go help out the old man. Oh, sorry, I got into the habit of sleeping in while I was away. By the way, Teiba-chan, there's one free room in the dorm. Chi-chan, you know that place was built by Yoshimitsu-san. He worked hard negotiating with the 4 families to get it built. He said he wanted for at least the children here to live in nice places closer to Kamafuji Yoshi. That's why he had the concrete stairs built on the hill and... She started talking about the past again. Well, Fusashi, you see what kind of place Yasumizu is? I already knew. Anyway, I hope they can fix the car. I may have completely unplugged my mic. My apologies. I hope that didn't make a loud noise. This was bad. Are they just doomed to die? Maybe both of them are just doomed to die. Just as expected, the road service would take a long time to get here. They'd be here sometime in the middle of the night if they tried to come right away. The mountain road was even more dangerous at night, so they agreed on the service coming in the early morning, which led us back to the talks about where they'd stay. Though by the time that discussion was over, Yamawaki-san, who was done talking, had left. She really gave us outsiders the cold shoulder, huh? Takumi-san tried suggesting they stay in their van. I was surprised to hear they were receptive to the idea. Them being a man and woman was one thing, but I was more concerned if the van had enough space for someone that huge and another person to lie down. Still, it looked like they were about to agree to just leave it at that, but that was no good. They wouldn't survive the night like that. So far, the only people I hadn't met were the students who were in school, Kanzo Makashima-san, who was out hunting since morning, and the old man who cried wolf. Since I'd met just about everyone else, I chose to take my leave. It wouldn't have been natural if I tried to talk to them out of that. I had to get places for them, but my only option was one I didn't have much faith in. Anyway, doorbell. Oh, you're the new one. What do you want? There's a problem that I think only a village head can solve. While I don't mind the sentiment, you can knock off the awkward flattery. Why not act more like yourself? Was my politeness that insincere? Sorry, now what about what I came here for? Is it true that the mists are coming soon? The effect my words had on Kyonosuke was impressive. He tried to act calm, but his wandering eyes made it clear he wasn't. What? Who told you about that? Who mentioned that superstition to you right when you just got here? Uematsu-san. He fell silent. The guy was easy to read. Someone else told me about the mists themselves, though. The one who sent me here was Shoji Higuchi-san. Oh, Shoji? He's 1 year younger than me. What did he say? I might have misheard it, but he said that there might be mists soon. There was no truth to my words, but they would become true when the mists came. But Uematsu-san said that something must be done if the mists come. There are people who are stuck here because their van had flat tires. I'm wondering what they should do. Oh, that's news to me. How troublesome. See, like I said, Kyonosuke, I said this I think before, like, he might seem like a dick, but he's like the most rational out of everyone. He does want everyone to live, but he's also just a dick about it. Once again, he's the Rockio of the group from Nosha. It is. What do you think? Early summer mists here in Yasumizu happen only every decade or two. Decade or two? Well, it wouldn't be impossible for them to appear now, but I don't think I saw signs of it happening anytime soon. I see. By the way, what's so dangerous about it? Everyone seems so tense. When the mists come to Yasumizu, someone always dies. Was that an okay thing to say? Oh, don't misunderstand. The mists you get here are far more dense than any you know. I hear they make you as good as blind. I knew that, but yeah, I couldn't have imagined mists that dense unless I saw them for myself. That's why the people here were taught to stay indoors whenever that happened, but you have fools who still go outside and fall to their deaths or something. I see. Did you see the destroyed construction site not far from here? There was a project run by my family, but it ended when the mists led to on-site deaths. Seriously, they could have pulled out sooner, but the overseer was too strict. I felt stupid for even considering crazy theories about some Saranaga illness. The mist was dangerous in and of itself, and that made for a good official reason to stay indoors when it came. He seemed to believe the official reason and thought it wouldn't kill him. If he actually knew about the true dangers lurking in the mist, he'd do everything he could to leave Yasumizu. He was from a head family, but he didn't seem to know all the secrets. She, on the other hand, must have known something. I'd love to find out more, but... hold on. He just told me something weird. The mist led to on-site deaths? Did you see the aftermath of the landslide uphill? It's been like that ever since the Masato got to work on the place 8 years ago when it collapsed. They were too freaked out to even clean it up. I ended up digging out the workers' corpses and burying them. Have a good night, Lily. Take it easy and thank you for the raid once again. Talk to you later. Bye. I was told that Takumi-san buried the bodies. But if it happened in the mist during a Feast of Yomi Purge, didn't that mean he should have been present during the feast? Interesting. From what I could tell last time, the mist scared the people here and drove them to panic. Kanzo Makishimashi hadn't reacted like that, while the old wolf guy had said that wolves were coming. It was likely they experienced the feast before. That's true. Which means that Kanzo and Tei were probably wolves in the past and survived, I'm guessing. Maybe with the old man? But that means Takumi lived, right? Okay. But I didn't know what had happened to the other people, or what I'd even do with that information. One thing I could say was that the survivors either killed or silently approved of killing people. Shemi could be one of them, and so could the students. Even if I couldn't connect all of the dots, it was entirely possible. I had to keep myself together. Hopefully we'll learn more, though. I had many things to think about later, but for now I had a goal to complete. And yet the people at the main house... Say, Masato-san? Him? You said that construction site is yours, right? Right, what of it? Is that prefab usable? For what? I just thought it'd be a better place for the troubled outsiders to stay at. After thinking for a moment, Kyonosuke returned inside. I'd expect him to say something like, why would I? A village head sully my hands with Yasumizu's problems or something? So this came as a surprise. Kyonosuke came back shortly. This should be it. The previous head of the family brought it here after the incident, and just as I expected, it was in the key box. Thank you very much. Wait, I didn't say I'd give it to you. In fact, why would I? A village head sully my hands with Yasumizu's problems. And there it was. Good job. You have a point. I'm sorry. I'm joking. I didn't say I wouldn't give it either. Ah, what a pain in the ass. Unlike Mura or Serizawa, you seem to know how to behave around the heads. Yasumizu inhabitant or not, I value such people. We village heads are responsible for maintaining order in Fujiyoshi. Thank you very much. Or so he believed in the concept of noblesse oblige. Shame he didn't have the ability for it. First I had to check if the place was even usable. The equipment and materials were all gone. The only thing of note here was the sink on the wall. The flooring was cold and a bit sandy, but with a bit of cleaning and a futon, it could be a decent living space. There was no running water, but if we placed a water bucket here, whoever was living here could easily wash themselves. 3 and 20. What? 3 and 20. Okay. So 3, sorry. Dense mist. So 20. So I'm guessing, like, once again, I'm still thinking that 20 would be Shemi knowing about the loops, but 3 shows up here. So 3 must be knowing. 3 must be knowing where something is. That's what I'm thinking. 20, like, everything is telling me that 20, and based off of Chemi's reaction, tells me that she needs to be fully aware of the loops in order to, in order for it to work out. There's probably another one for, like, say, Rikako or, like, somebody else to be aware, but we haven't seen, like, what that could be yet. But based on the fact that this isn't hide in the outhouse, I'm assuming that 3 must be that we need to know where something is. But we don't know what that is yet. Return to the dining hall. So I think for now, they're still going to die. One of them is. I now had 1 empty living space. Get the other, the dorm room, was even harder. I didn't even think I could force it at this stage. However, it was still a better option than just wandering around looking for alternatives that may not even exist. This would be a real waste of time if I didn't end up saving them. I wasn't about to stop trying, though. It was still just a bit afternoon. Honestly, I was a bit hungry. But there was a strange, powerful reek coming from the dining hall. I had no idea what could have caused this. Was it a toilet? No, it was more along the lines of rot. Animal rot at that. Did someone already die? My memories made me forget the situation was still peaceful, and I dashed. Suddenly, a dense wall rose up before me. What? I was pushed away. Oh! Interesting. That's the prayer thing with the guy with the bandage. Woo! And then his rifle. I spaced out for a moment, but then I realized I bumped into the local hunter, Kanzo Makishimishi. You're all the one, eh? That was the first time I'd seen him hold his gun in his hands. I was even more troubled by his face. Oh yeah, she also had that too. I was pretty sure I'd seen the old lady Tay wear something similar. This was a weird smell, so I was wondering if everything's okay. Shichinare. Huh? That Shichinare Borland. The Finn the journalists. I don't remember his voice that I did, but whatever. Oh yeah, Hisako-san was here to eat something strange. Be careful, boy. Alright, may I have your name? Makishima. And he left. The bundle he had in his left hand told me he'd only been here to get his lunch. He was as tough as I remembered. The chest made it hard to believe how old he was. What a hunk of a man. That thought made me seem like some lump-struck teen girl. Fair. Anyway, that cleared things up. The smell was caused by cooking. I gathered my resolve and went inside. Oh, where were you? I had things for you to do. Kuri-san glanced at me a bit. Crap, I'd have to make up for the points I'd lost. I'm sorry, I had business with Nosato-san. Business with him? Did Higuchi tell you to give him a message? No, Mamiya-san, Hashimoto-san, can I have a moment? Besides the one in charge here and that sleepyhead, you also had the journalists who were busy taking photos and jotting down notes. I was impressed by their professionalism, being able to get back to work right after the problem was solved, although it actually wasn't. Sorry to bother you while you're working. Nosato-san said that it's not good to spend a night in the van and gave me the key to the prefab. Oh. What? Nosato-san said that? Well, it was nice to find out how she usually called him. Apparently there's one more room too, so why don't you ask if they can open that so you can spend the night under a roof? I appreciate the sentiment, but I don't want to force anyone to give me a room. Of course she didn't. That was the normal thing to think. Kari-san, we really should open the dorm. Losing to Nosato-san would bring shame to Yasumizu. I won't say anything about that, but yes, even if there aren't any bad people here, I don't feel good about letting a young lady sleep in a car. Kari-san, can we have lunch? The most important person around joined the scene. What? Nosato-san gave me a key. It's for the prefab, but still, not one of them could rest with the roof over their heads. Oh, that's... I wasn't explicit about it, but she instantly understood what I was getting at. But that place is... I don't mind having a new neighbor. By the way, what kind of place is the dorm anyway? That is the place for the children who will soon leave Yasumizu. To live in Yasumizu means to be a part of Yasumizu for the rest of your life, but that doesn't apply to the children. That makes it only a special place here, and the people of Kamafujiyoshi silently agree. Oh. So this was just another way Kamafujiyoshi exerted power over Yasumizu. I could understand why they didn't want to mess with it, but I knew from experience that it wasn't an insurmountable obstacle. They'd opened it up for an emergency, but tomorrow would be too late. I didn't really have a good way to convince them that this was indeed an emergency. It's fine, I'm used to sleeping in a car. You could use the prefab, Hashimoto-san. The car is more than enough for me, not to mention you're the one doing all the driving. Shouldn't it be the other way around? We're talking about the prefab uphill, aren't we? I'm not sure I want to let a woman sleep there. As we pondered. Excuse me. Hashimoto-san actually spoke up and walked up to Tayson. Can I help you? If you have a proper room, could you please open it up for her? She's a tough lady who can handle work in this field, but she's still unmarried. As her partner, I don't want her to do anything she shouldn't have to. I will thank you in whatever way I can, so please. He bowed. His large body bent in two, but Tayson still had to look up at him. I understand, but... Wow, Tayson was on the verge of giving in. Hey, Fusashi, so you came back, huh? Why were you out when Kaori-san was making food? You got some nerve leaving when she needed your help. Oh, Takumi Nichan, perfect timing. What? Perfect timing indeed. He was the best person to convince Tayson. And in the end, she agreed. The word unmarried meant a lot to her, apparently. She seemed to become more considerate of Mamiya-san after that. One of the reasons for this victory was the pressure emitted by Hashimoto-san's massive presence, and the other was the fact he presented a reason that resonated with her. And then Takumi-san joined the scene and gave her the final push. This wasn't exclusive to Yasumizu, but finding a compromise in a community without common interests was really difficult. It was especially hard when you couldn't give proper reasons for your words. They'd start to suspect I was a slacker, but I said that I was called by Nosato-san, and though it surprised them, they believed me. As a result, I had to make up a story about how he was shy but actually considerate of everyone, which was why he called me. After all, I couldn't let them think I decided this by myself. After we got the key from Tayson, the two journalists and I left the dining hall to prepare our living spaces. The dorm room was clean to begin with. There was gas, water, and a futon, exactly like I remembered it. The house I'd be staying at was clean too. All I had to do was get a futon from the dining hall and fill the pail with water. The prefab, though, took a while to clean. Takumi-san brought the cleaner pieces of tatami from the abandoned shacks here, which made it a relatively livable space. Well, if we're staying here, we might as well experience the local daily life. Shame we won't be able to make an article out of it. They seem to be satisfied with that reason. I hope we can work in a safer place next time. Sorry, most of my gigs are like this, aren't they? Oh, but this is better for me. I have insurance, and it's far safer than a war zone. He'd have been in such places. He did more legwork than his looks would have you believe. But you're a woman, Q-chan. I keep telling you not to mention that. There are no genders while we're working. Sadly, dangerous places are riskier for women than men. Well, you know, I can't get any better jobs or man. It's rough, huh? The relationship was just that of good business partners. That's sweet. Good for them. Mamiya-san was a passionate journalist, while Hashimoto-san was a senior who was worried about her and helped her out. There was a decent balance here. That's unexpected. You're good looking, so I figured you'd be more popular. Flattery won't get you anywhere. Oh, believe me, if I was less pathetic, I'd have gone for you without hesitation. What an honor. How old are you, by the way? 24. About to enter my 30s. I'd feel really bad. Oh, come on. Unmarried 30-year-olds weren't rare in this day and age, though I preferred women who were a bit more bothersome. What's this tub? Oh, it's to clean your body. We'll only be here for a day. I was told it's a custom here. Can you tell us more? Alright, this was a good chance to share info with them. Presenting it as info I heard from Uematsu-san and Kiyonosuke-shi, I told them about what had to be done when the mist came. I couldn't sound too knowledgeable, though, since I was a newbie here, but was able to imply that there was a supernatural danger involved. Mamiya-san was extremely intrigued and quickly asked for extra info like the stuff about the four-head families. I did my best to mention only what I'd found out this time around, but I couldn't help worrying that I would say too much. Fair play. Interesting. That's so Shinto-like, though. I wonder how it was passed on. Strange Tori, families with guardians through their names, accustomed to cleanse only when the mists come. They don't seem too hospitable to guests, though. What a mystery. How did such unique customs survive in such a remote farming village? Was it even more peculiar back in the day? It really does look like this is your calling, Q-chan. Oh, apologies. Anyway, we have places to sleep in, and know what to do if the mists come. Let's get back to work. You're satisfied with the dorm, right? Then I'll use this place. If you want, you can use the cabin downhill. This prefab is pretty cramped. Don't worry, I can sleep anywhere. And you're going to live here, aren't you? You should get used to your new home as quickly as possible. He had a point. Also, I borrowed the place from Uematsu-san. I didn't have the right to let anyone use it. That's fine. Good old spelling mistakes. Oh, what? I can sleep anywhere. I'm going to hurt you. As quickly as possible. Something must be wrong with the house. That must be what that key is. Somebody must die in a specific way. Or maybe he dies regardless? It's possible. All right, sorry about that. Don't be. We should be thanking you. You did a lot for us, didn't you? Huh? That Osato person didn't seem like the considerate type, so I can only guess that you got him to help. Oh, you're giving me too much credit. This girl tends to push herself too hard. Thank you for caring for her where I couldn't. Hey, you're only a dozen years older than me. Don't act like my dad. There's something about him that bothered me. Fair. Yeah, no, something weird's going on. Anyway, with that done, I figured I'd spend my remaining time trying to rub elbows with the rest of Yasumizu. Though I'd already had a job here, I had to make up for not helping at the dining hall before noon. But you can't work on an empty stomach. Kuri-san gave me a bowl. For some reason, her smile seemed a bit warped. It probably wasn't on purpose, though. It was just the effect of the smell, no, the miasma coming from the food she gave me. It was just that powerful. Are you upset about something? Huh? No, why would you think that? I couldn't feel any anger in her voice or expression, but being new here, I couldn't understand the mentality of someone trying to present something like this as food. As I twitched and feared that this was punishment for slacking off, Kuri-san suddenly gave me a full smile. Oh, it's the smell, isn't it? This is Shinshinare. It's like this because it's a traditional technique to keep game meat fresh. I see. So this was the infamous dish made of fermented game meats. The nare part of the name had to refer to long fermentation, just like in narazushi for fermented sushi. I had no clue how they gave it such a strong smell, though. This is a legitimate question for anyone who's able to answer, which is probably everybody. But, like, does smell really dictate how you taste? Like, have you ever eaten something that was, like, super foul smelling and it just affected the taste negatively? The reason I ask is, for those who are new or, like, don't know, I have a very, very, very weak sense of smell. Pretty much non-existent. Like, I literally can hardly smell anything. Whenever it's like, Simon, stop the smell of roses, or smell this food, or whatever. I really can't. That's why my parents usually had me change, like, when my brothers were little, like, their diapers, because, like, I wouldn't smell shit or anything. So, scent does dictate taste. Really, it's why people who lose their sense of smell entirely often grow to very strongly favor spicy foods. That would explain the wings when we did Cuphead hot wings. But then even then I couldn't, like... Oh, that would make sense. Because, like, I love spice. And, like, 5 out of the 6 wings that we were eating for the Cuphead Hot Wings Challenge this time around, like, were still, like, decent. I didn't like the teriyaki one that much, but, like, the others were fine. But the blazing one obviously, like, fucked me up. But I also, like, really couldn't breathe through my nose. So it just made everything worse. That makes sense with spice. I don't know. I've really, like, never been able to smell anything. It's because my allergies are super bad, so I figured just my nose is clogged up all the time to the point where, like, maybe I do have a sense of smell, but because, like, I can't really breathe through my nose that well, maybe that's why. It's why I can't have this fan on when I'm sleeping, because when I go to sleep, I pretty much breathe through my mouth the entire time, so it just kills my voice, which is what happened on Saturday. I wish I could get better, but I used to work in medical industry. I know insurance is expensive, and allergy shots, $40 per shot sucks. Especially when you're living on a budget. Don't go too well. Does not go too well at all. So, yeah. I always ask this, like, I feel like I ask this like every few months or so, because it always gets talked about in games or like in conversations, and I just kind of like give like this blank stare because it just never occurred to me. I had no clue they gave it such a strong smell though. Excuse me, did they use the same marinade for decades, like with the salt they use for sun-dried mackerel? They used to eat it raw before, but they eventually found it out it's dangerous, and now we boil it or use it in stews or soups. It used to be a celebrated dish here. This is what's left from what I made for the journalist. Please consider it my way of welcoming you. Okay, I had to steel myself. I actually had a soft spot for strange delicacies. I tried sun-dried mackerel and any other weird foods I can get my hand on. No way I could refuse this. I mean, I've been eating Yasumizu's food since I was a little girl. Would eating this turn me into a zombie or something? No, I'd prove that idea wrong. Thank you. I picked up the bowl and the chopsticks. Brown rice covered in a ton of crumbled bits of meat. The soup stock seemed as light as what they used in Kamafuji-yoshi, but I didn't know what to think of the meat's color. What was up with this greasy, shiny green surface? The reek attacked my nose once again. Damn it, I couldn't back out now. Gathering my resolve, I quickly put some stock rice and meat into my mouth. What? Was it good? I really couldn't tell. I had absolutely no idea what I was eating here. The texture, the sensation on the tongue, everything was new to me. The taste was extremely acidic, salty, and rich in animal protein. But that weird smell smothered most of it, forcing me to continuously convince myself that I was eating something good. I felt like my body would reject it all if I didn't. Holding the aversion at bay, I somehow swallowed it. The aftertaste was better than I expected, but as the reek faded, it made way for a strong, beastly smell. Yeah, in a way, this taste was an exciting form of entertainment by itself. Oh my, you're such a good eater. I could get used to this. Yes, I understand what you mean. I didn't know what to think of it when I first came here, but now I sometimes even crave it. His face, true. I saw it, but I was like, I wasn't lying. It really did seem like a taste I could get used to. It was hard to honestly call it good, but at least it did feel nutritious. I was reciting a prayer, repeatedly trying to convince myself of that as I emptied the bowl I was given. Oof. Thank you for the meal. You're welcome. So I'd finally eaten something from Yasumizu. Did that mean I was a true local now? Or a Yomabito? Whatever, as long as I could go back to square one, I would explore all the options I had available. Rhythmic cutting sounds were reaching my ears. As Kaori-san began preparing food in the kitchen, I did the work assigned to me. I had to repair the numerous cracked and broken dishes they had here. Apparently they couldn't afford anything new, so they opted to take what was thrown out in Kamafuji-yoshi and repair it into something usable. Has that blue cheese and possible ammonia sent to it, similar to the fermented sushi I talk about? I could not eat that. I feel like it would give me a migraine. Blue cheese has a smell? Once again, I'm going to take your word for it. Was there no end to how pitiful things were here? The broken plates and cups were all wrapped in old newspaper, and all I had to do was unwrap them and put them back together. It was actually kind of fun, sort of like a jigsaw puzzle, but man, there were a lot of them. I'd have to do this for entire boxes full of broken tableware. I did wonder what they actually needed so much, but apparently they just barely had enough, so they wanted to have some spares. I used some all-purpose glue from a 100-yen shop. They bought it from a nearby town. Kaori-san laughed about it, saying, "We get far more value out of this than a 100-yen bowl," and I just about cried. It was a strange mix of modern frugality and the poverty of ancient times, and it exemplified just how weird Yasumizu really was. As I worked, I realized that many of the plates and cups had a familiar symbol on them. What kind of mark is this? Asked Kaori-san over the counter. Oh, that's the crest of the watering hole family. The Gucci. I was about to mention the name, but then I realized that Kaori-san probably didn't have good memories of them. I heard that examining these crests helped understand the lineages and the like, but I had no knowledge necessary for this. Did the other head families have crests too? Yes, I like the Nosato one. It's cute. Cute? From what I recall, the Nosato family was the crow. Did it have a bird on it or something? Uematsu was the spider, Nosato was the crow, Higuchi was the monkey. Oh man, I wish I could see that again. I see the monkey because it's supposed to be two of them facing the other way. And Meguruma was the snake. They worshipped a mountain and these guardians. It was significant not only for Fujiyoshi's culture, but the Feast of the Yomi Purge as well. If memory served, Chimi had told me last time that whether you had a guardian or not was relayed by a mark of blood on your skin. Waking up to find blood on your body was something straight out of a horror movie. Didn't the wolves in Haruchan say it was done through dreams? If that was true, I'd be at a loss. It'd actually be an actual supernatural phenomenon. Still, were wolves and humans informed differently? This was something I'd have to look into starting tomorrow. Where can I see the other crests? You could probably find the Nosatos in the Sato mansion, but the others... Oh, the accessory on Uematsu-san's chest is based on her crest. That thing, huh? I thought it was kind of weird looking. I'll try looking for them. I wouldn't want to disrespect them out of ignorance. You might be right. I'll tell you if I find something. Please do. I continued working as we talked. There was a small ancient TV here. Apparently you can get public broadcasting here, but not much else. That was probably enough for everyone to gather here and have dinner while watching something. I was told that all the dorm rooms had TVs too. That had to be another way that they pampered the children who eventually leave this place. It strongly demonstrated how much of an exception the dorm was for Yasumizu. Naldis lives in the dorm and always tells me what happened in yesterday's shows. We can only turn this on at night, you see. Normally giving TVs to the younger generations would be a sign of luxury, but it was the other way around here. The children went to school in Kamifujiyoshi, but they never went anywhere beyond that and just went straight home, and Kamifujiyoshi was secluded to begin with. That was why they prioritized giving TVs to the children. They let them know what was happening outside the village and to help them learn modern Japanese culture. Apparently, they also covered their electricity and gas bills. They had to be frugal, but they didn't mind supporting the children's access to TV. Shimi was the first Yasumizu child to make it to college, and Yasunaga-kun was expected to follow her footsteps. Basically, they thought if they supported the young ones and helped them become prominent figures in society, the money they'd send back would make life easier for those who stayed here. I honestly hope Yasunaga is able to live freely, unhindered by his roots here. As you can see, my second son has some flaws, so I have to keep him close, but my eldest is, if you don't mind my bragging, simply excellent. My late husband was clever too, but he had an intense nature, and it seemed like those two qualities were split between my sons. I do feel guilty that I couldn't give birth to two clever boys. Birthing the second was so difficult that both of us almost died. Did he come out like that because I tried too hard at the time? Kiri-san was pretty talkative about this. I knew I was a stranger and she had to introduce Yasumizu to me, but this was a bit too much if you asked me. Fucking fair, dude. That was probably a sign of just how helpless she felt right now. Maybe Takumi-san should just propose to her and lighten the Oribe's burden. Marrying a widow with sons in middle to high school was difficult, and I could only assume that was his main issue. Excuse me. Feeling a bit conflicted, I glanced at the cheap alarm clock on the TV. There's 3 p.m. Any minute now. We're back, huh? Don't know this guy. There, the high schoolers are back. Welcome back, this is Fusashi-san. He suddenly moved here to Yasumizu. Let's get along. Now this is unexpected. I'm Yasunaga Oribe. Kiri-san's son, right? She told me about you. What did you tell him exactly? Get along with my good-for-nothing son. Oh man. Oh, this is Chikamochi Kamoshida, and that's Haru Makishima. Call me Mochi. Give me your life. Nope. Hey Mochi, what's that? Is he one of those cool guys? He scares me. Yasun probably has a better face and personality than him. Can he win against him? Sure he can. I challenge you to a duel. What? Wait, I'm your opponent here. Alright, let's go. Which one of us can go the longest without pissing? You cur, you know I'm trying my hardest to hold it in. I'm at my limit too, actually. The one who pisses his pants first is the winner. Alright, wait, no it isn't. Just go already. Oh dear, we both had to forfeit. Hey, at least we're getting along. That's the good news. You two sure get along. The bond of pissmen. Yeah, wait, no. Again, this is hard, Sean. Nice to meet you. Yeah, you have any fashion sense. Got a problem with it? I got it all at a 100 yen shop in Kachihara at the end of last year. That was just sad. It was something I'd expect from an elementary schooler. But if you live out here, like, it kind of makes sense. No, it's good. Again, let's get along. Nichan, he's trying to flirt with me. I'm scared. I really don't think he is. Man, Haruchan was distrustful of me even without the misunderstandings regarding Chiemi and I. Perhaps there really were people you just couldn't get along with. How sad. You got along with Haruchan last time. It's just that she also was crazy. Oh, you fixed so many bowls and cups. We were supposed to do that. Sorry to trouble you with it. It's fine. I had fun. There's still plenty left. Yasunaga, leave him be and go review your lessons. Oh, right. I'm going to the dorm then. Let's have our duel another time, Pissman. Then I'll be going now. The high schoolers left. Have you met everyone here in Yasumizu by this point? I guess so. There's one exception, though. Oh, sorry. There was a bit of a rude response. 1, 2, 3. Journalists included. I'm at 14. Huh? 1, 2... Oh, but if we don't include you, there should be 15. Suddenly, as if rehearsed, the final person appeared. It's him! Oh, perfect timing. This is the old man of Yasumizu. No one knew his name, did they? Hello. Like always, it was hard to tell whether he was listening or not. I'll be living here from now on. Pleasure to meet you. Coming! There it was, his shtick. Huh? What? He beckoned me closer. I carefully brought my ear to his mouth. Way back. Wolf is coming? Whoa, you surprised me. I evaded the potential damage to my eardrums. I had no idea what he was thinking, but he was grinning. Oh, I'm hungry. Please wait, I'll make you an onigiri. This might have been actually the first time I saw him properly communicate with someone. Once given the onigiri, he quickly munched it all up, leaving a big mess and just staggered out. According to Kari-san, he's always been part of the whole Yasumizu package. He seemed to have something wrong with his head and tended to cause trouble here. Always a part, eh? Would it be wrong to assume he's experienced something that made him go insane? At the very least, his catchphrase about wolves coming gave me that impression. He'd experienced the feast once, and the fear made the boy who cried wolf became the old man who cried wolf. Perhaps he'd even seen that thing. I'd love to hear what he had to say, but that seemed difficult. Yeah, there's a lot to learn. Is that everyone? It seems so. I was glad to have heard so much from Kaori-san, but I would have liked to talk to the young ones more. Shemi too, obviously. Was it possible for me to forge a proper relationship with her starting tomorrow? Let's rest until 6 p.m. With you here, everything was taken care of so quickly. You're a great help. Oh, it was nothing. After helping with the dinner preparation, I was mostly done for the day, so I was free to take a breather. It was almost 5 p.m. I hadn't been keeping track of time on the previous loop, but the mist had to appear soon. Needless to say, I was slightly tense. Fucking fair, dude. I would be nervous too. Not having anything better to do, I went outside. I looked up at the sky. The evening sun bathed everything in a red hue. This was probably the last time I'd see the mountain in the distance. No, this time I would survive until the mist cleared. Then I would look at this with the one dear to me and leave this place for good. As I gathered my resolve, eat the donut bologna rice snows on the mountain. I suddenly heard an off-key singing voice. It completely deflated the tension of the scene. Oh. It's Mako! I could see Mako running through the plaza. She clearly noticed me. Uematsu-san was right behind her. Fusayuki-san! That wasn't my name. I'm Haruaki. Fusashi-san. You worked hard, I presume. I'm still shining with energy. How reliable. I'm going to look at the field downhill before dinner time comes. Oh, just like last time, huh? I had been busy fixing my bike here, so I hadn't even noticed them go down. There's a field down here? Yes, though it's more of a graveyard. Grave. Is there anything significant? Oh, that aside, your clothes are a bit Buddhist, aren't they? Aren't you giving a memorial? Are you giving a memorial service or something? Yes, the Uematsu was also responsible for funeral rites. Our faith might have some roots in Buddhism as a result of that duty. So Mamiya-san was right. Bedroom women servants, was it? Perhaps they protected not only dreams, but also eternal sleep, the peace of the dead. Though, as our blood became less pure, we became unable to fulfill these duties, so we left them to the Meguruma. Despite that, after moving here to Yasumizu, you hold services for the local graves, huh? That is my intention, yes, but this time, what? I've become a bit worried. She looked toward the direction of Saranaga again. Perhaps she could feel the coming of the mist with her skin. I heard that sensitive people could sense incoming weather changes by differences in pressure and humidity alone. Will something happen? No, I think it is probably merely my imagination. Uematsu-san leaned on the pillar supporting the well's roof. Apparently she decided against going to the field. Realizing this, Mako started playing around. Kids sure are a bundle of energy, huh? Indeed, everyone was afraid of her because she came through Saranaga, but she turned out to be an energetic child. Truly a relief. I wonder what happened to her. Perhaps she was doing her hardest to run away from a forced suicide in the mountains. That seemed likely. Takumi-san had mentioned last time that lots of suicidal people gathered here. But why did you... I was about to ask why she was the one to take care of her, but then I remembered something. She took in the corruption. That was one of the roles she was expected to fulfill. It felt wrong to me, but I didn't know what I was actually had a problem with. Mako's parents, the locals who treated her like filth, or perhaps the customs and superstitions that caused it. So they see Mako as corruption, so she's taking care of the corruption. Got it. 9, one whole birthday cow to find, 10 that kissed my sway again. That's a unique song. I heard it during a broadcast in Kamafujiyoshi. Actually, I heard it here in the last loop, but whatever. It's an old song about the teachings of great Lord Shinai-sama, the incarnation of this mountain that keeps us alive. Shinai-san's guardians are 1 snake, 2 monkey, 3 crow, 4 spider. She began singing out of nowhere. 5 prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. 6 the badger runs along late with Nair as a fix. A badger? Her clear voice vanished into the winds passing this empty plaza. However, I could hear it very well. 7 the corrupt Yomi-Bido rise to oppose the mountain. The tone of the song suddenly changed. 8 death of the damned Yomi-Bido is the mandate. Her singing now brought out feelings of unease. 9 1 soul per day now to bind. 10 the mists rise away again. Why are you covered in blood, miss? That's a lot of blood. An ice cold voice cut her off. I looked at the source and a chill went down my spine. It was Chimmy, covered in the red of the evening, as well as the red of blood. Her whole body was covered in blood. You were working hard, I see. Oh, I was. Dude, so many bait and switches are happening. Like, it's gonna probably stop at some point, but it's funny. Huh? Serizawa-san? What happened? I'm sorry, I guess making such a dramatic entrance while looking like this is a bit scary, huh? She gave me a broad grin.
I believe she had to dismantle Wild Game.
Yep, Kanzochi-chan got a big one this morning. The muscles and bones of this thing were huge. Oh yeah, Takumi-san had told her to help Kanzo-san. Wow, you know how to butcher wild game? It's easy when you get used to it. Your clothes are a mess now, though. You sure that's not a problem? I didn't mean for this to happen. My hand slipped a bit. We'll have another set of these clothes, so it ain't a problem. She laughed and made her look even more scarier. You can just call me Chimmy, by the way. Drop the fancy talk, too. Was that Rikako-san? No. It clearly was. Alright, Shami-chan, you can just call me Haraki, too. Talk to me like I'm a friend. Oh, really? Alright, Haraki-san. Want to get to know each other over some food? By the way, are we getting some of that game meat for dinner? Of course, we're in for some good eating. Woohoo, isn't that great, Uematsu-san? What? Please call me Rikako. Rikako-san? It literally is the fouet all over again. Who the fuck said fouet? Is it a Genshin thing? Excuse me. She's jealous over Chiemi. It seems like it. She's jealous and doesn't even know it. Wait. Why do I feel like it's a Genshin thing? I don't remember. What kind of response was that? What is it? Haruhara? Haruaki-sama? She was about to call me by some weird name, but she somehow managed to actually get my real one right. Problem being that she called out to me, but didn't actually have anything to say. Oh boy. Oh, what's your problem, Shemi-san? Haraki-san, wanna come watch me butcher game? You'll see me cut some meat with a huge hunting knife. Splosh splosh. Whoa, that kind of invitation would have weirded out anyone normal but me. I was actually intrigued. Haraki-sama? Yes. Shall we go there? Where? The graveyard. An invitation even freakier than the previous one. It felt like she'd take me straight to the land of the dead. Though that was interesting in its own way. Huh? And what exactly are you going to do there, Rikako-san? What of you, Serizawa-sama? Are you aware how absurd it is to show him a feast of blood? Even if it is for Yasumizu, blood is linked to the corruption. Rikako-san, you do know that lewdness is also dirty, right? Whatever are you imagining? I was not thinking of anything of the sort. They both want a bone. Haraki, he's popular. Oh god. Really? You seem like a real closet pervert to me. Oh, she totally is. What the fuck? Don't worry, all men love lewd women. Not true. This is where Doge comes in and calls me a man whore again. Beaming. Too bad though, I have even more lewd power than you. But no fair. Jimmy causing problems on purpose, Serizawa. So true. The fuck? They both... Oh my gosh, what the fuck? What the hell are you two talking about? Araki, you got your work cut out for you, buddy. Proud of you. Fusayuki-san, are you popular? Listen. Can Haruaki and I switch? Is that a possibility? Even Mako can see it. True. What? Mako, whatever do you... Oh, you're out of the race. Guess I'll have him then. Well, that's too good to be true. You're my type. If you're gonna live here, then I guess I'll have something to look forward to when coming back home. So I had a chance with Shimmy in this route too, huh? Let's fucking go! Oh, then I shall have many chances while you are away. What? Not happening. And with Rikako-san too. It's like he's just a slab of meat. It's literally like he's a slab of meat that just decided to say, hi, I am here. And they're just like, haha. It's like, what? Mako-chan, let's have a race. Yay! I ran around with her like I was a kid her own age again. Leave the two lewd ladies away alone for now. As much as I enjoyed them having a cat fight over me, I knew that we were almost out of time. I say this, I'm a Nikkei player. The dense mist began flowing into the plaza. No way. My tone was a bit forced, but no one paid any heed. Bah! The mists are here. Shimi's loud voice flung everyone into a frenzied panic. Bachan's in the house. What about the old man? I ain't that old. No, not the mists! Chi, take the brats to the dorm. Yeah, Haruaki-san. I'll lead him. Alright, please do. Haruaki-san, this is Yasumizu's mist. Please do whatever she tells you, even if it sounds stupid. Alright. Oh, so this is the mist. I guess we should count ourselves lucky we got to see it. It's probably bad for our equipment. This is serious. I'm so glad you have rooms. Please run to them immediately. Mamiya-san, you're with us. Cameraman, you... I'll take him. The prefab, right? Come with me and don't fall. No need to rush. I couldn't help but worry. Coming! Coming! The wolf is coming! At the edge of my fading vision, I saw the old man mutter that and walk off. Mako, Haruaki-sama. Looks like it was not just my imagination. We have to lock up in our houses now, right? Cleanse, shelter, dream. That is how you prepare for the feast. Please don't forget to do them. Wash my body, lock the door, and sleep? Yes, you will not get to eat tomorrow until tomorrow, so please be patient. Okay, got it. If they obey the laws, no one will die today. What do you mean? Today we prepare for the feast. Those who do not are punished by our great lord Shinai. Please, go. Rikako-san took Mako in her hands and took a step back. That alone made her face less clear. Please, prepare. I wish to see you again, tomorrow. I will. I shouted that right before her face vanished. She clearly liked me, but you got 2 girls after you. Good for you. So much that she was almost crying. She probably assumed no one believed her and thought I would be a pile of gore tomorrow. Not a chance. I knew how serious this was and understood the depths of their fear and despair. And on top of it all, I wanted to help them. I wanted to reassure them by making that all too clear. I made my way carefully downhill to my hut. Unlock, enter, lock. Oh man, I felt so much safer than last time. So I'm wondering... Ooh, interesting. Muy interesante. What the fuck? Oh, because, yeah, okay, I was like, the hell? So all set, and then decide arrangements. So this splits off into more things. So I'm guessing that every single, like, addition that happens means that there's different wolves in play. That's what my general assumption is. So, like, the left side, the leftmost one right now, I'm going to say left, middle, and right. So left is Yasu, Naga, and Tei as the wolves. This middle path will be 2 different wolves. The right path will be 2 different wolves. And if it keeps going, there might be even more. I felt so much safer than last time. After all, I could actually lock up, have a decently sized space that was protected from the mist, and had a nice place to lie down. I made it this far. That alone was a strong sign that I was doing way better than before. I turned on the light. I actually had electricity here. Well, I'd had it in the dorm last time too. All that was really cut was the telephone wires to the dining hall. Weird to think that mist and severed phone wires were enough to create a closed circle like this one. Even weirder that I actually came back here on my own volition. I reached into the bag in the corner of the room and opened the yellow box of food. It was probably unfair to everyone else, but I needed the energy. I'd have a hell of a time tomorrow. After my half-assed excuse for dinner, I took the wet towel from the pail and washed my body. I then checked if the door was really locked. All that was left was to spread out the futon and sleep. Could I, though? After all, I had so many things on my mind. First, the things I learned today. So I found out I could change how things went down. This time, I somehow succeeded in becoming an inhabitant here and saved the journalists. I had no idea if this would make things better than last time, but it was clear things were different. That alone was big. Had to be. I also had a feeling there was at least one Yasumizu inhabitant who had experienced a feast before. This wasn't that new, but now I feel like the elders weren't the only suspects. Takumi-san could have experienced one too. Tomorrow I could probably ask if there was a miss before, and I could actually make it sound natural. The settlement's history was just as deserving of an investigation as its customs and superstitions. And Rikako Uematsu. She might have actually been way weirder than I'd first thought. She felt often and went nuts when you just called her by name. Despite her weirdness, though, there was a certain charm to her. She was kind of like a fancy-looking restaurant that you were afraid to go into, but when you mustered the courage, it turned out to be unacceptably cheap and sold simple yet nice flavors, making you really attached to it. But, objectively speaking, it felt like she was actually attracted to me, but why? Did our first meeting leave that much of an impression? Maybe a different key, yeah, that's what I'm thinking is now, like a different key is going to make Rikako aware of the loops, too. Not that I minded the intention, but this seemed a bit too good to be true. Whatever the case, I formed a bond that I certainly didn't expect last time. Assuming I solved this whole mystery, what would I do next? Following through on my lie, actually living here would upset too many parties, so that was a no, and if I left here someday, what would become of my relationships? Rikako-san didn't look like she'd ever leave this place. What about Chiemi? Oh, goddamn analogy describe. I mean, true, but like, it's not wrong. Why was I counting my chickens before they hatched anyway? I did appreciate that Chiemi actually liked me this time too. I wasn't much help to her last loop, so I was kind of fixated on saving her on this one. There was another way to look at this. There was a feeling born of a trip through hell with her last time, standing by her until the end, but the Chiemi from back then wasn't the same as the Chiemi from this loop. Unless, once again, she's aware because of how she reacted. Any feelings I had for the previous Chiemi had nothing to do with this one. There was nothing more hollow than chasing after unrequited feelings, right? I had enough of thinking about that, and it just made me feel empty inside. Do you think we'll get a mark? That might be interesting. Time to review more important things, like the previous roles. Takumi Mura was the snake. Chikamochi, Kamoshida, and Mako were the monkeys. Yasunaga Aribe and Tei Yamawaki were the wolves. Those were the only clear ones, not for the rest. Since the spider was supposed to protect the snake, Takumi-san, who died on the second day, it was safe to assume it was someone who died on the first. There was either Kanzo Makishima or Yoshitsugu Oribe, and I was pretty sure it was the former. I had no guesses for the crow, though. The Guardian didn't really get a turn in the spotlight last time. There was only one standard lynching, after all. In fact, there were far more abnormal deaths. But I had no idea if those were not covered by the crow's power, to tell if the lynch victim was a wolf or not. If they were, then perhaps the crow was waiting for the chance to come out, but all who died were humans, and eventually they were out of the game. Or maybe it was someone who couldn't make good use of the power at all. Assuming Kanzo-san was the spider, then I had several suspects for the crow. Yoshitsugu Oribe, Haru Makishima, Chiemi Serizawa, Rikako Uematsu, Kiyonosuke no Sato, Karayo Oribe, and the old wolf guy. First, Yoshitsugu-kun. Honestly, I felt like he would reveal himself as an owner of a guardian way before Takumi-san would. He was reckless and impulsive after all. Kiyonosuke-shi seemed like the type to proudly reveal that he had the crow. It was his family's guardian beast after all. Or maybe he was using it to gather information on his own, so he could pull out a bunch of his own deductions all at once? No, he wasn't that stupid, surely. Also, he was given free rein until the wolves got to him on the final day. He had ample time to do something. Then Haru Makishima. She betrayed the humans inside with the wolves, despite the fact that it wouldn't save her life. Needless to say, that seemed insane. The Great Lord Shinai came to her in a dream and told her the truth? What the hell? Who died for that? Was there some other way to create such madness? A method to create a murderer? Was there anything beside what Yasunaga-kun mentioned? I had no idea, but if there was, I really didn't think anyone with a guardian would fall victim to it. If Chiemi was the crow, I would have hoped she would have confided in me about it. Kaori Oribe I had no idea. She'd been the only one killed the conventional way last time, but was never really given the chance to speak up. Even if she was, it's possible she'd chosen to keep silent and focus on killing everyone for her son, or she tried to become a shield for him. The old wolf guy made no sense at all. If he'd gotten a guardian, it likely would have just gone to waste. Finally, Rikako-san. I had no idea what to expect from her. She was the only descendant of the Uematsu family and their current head, so perhaps she knew some secrets known only to the head families. However, from what I observed of her today, it really did seem like she just had a bad feeling and didn't come to check. I didn't know how intelligent she was either. She did seem to have a good intuition, but she was also a bit of a klutz. There's also the fact that she'd been eliminated from the previous game due to some kind of strange corruption. Maybe she didn't have a chance to reveal that she possessed a guardian. That meant that the most likely candidates for the crow were Rikako-san, Kaori-san, and the old wolf guy. What was the most important here, though, was if those with guardians would be the exact same as last time. I don't think that's the case. I mean, listen, I have a wolf on my arm, so I'm always a wolf. I mean, what? Just saying. But no, I don't think they're going to be the same as last time. Because here's the thing. If we call out that Takumi might immediately have the snake and he doesn't, then that gives us the information, but then we're dead. So we might want to do that. If they were, I'd have this feast in the bag. If, to use as an extreme example, I went and silently took out Yasunaga-kun and Tei-san, I'd probably fall victim to the corruption, but the human side would win. Of course, the participants were different this time, so it wasn't guaranteed that we get the same guardians. But if Great Lord Shinai or whatever picked them had some sort of qualifications for his chosen, the addition of outsiders would change nothing. On the other hand, if our participation could change the guardian assignments, was it random? Or was there some kind of pattern? I'm wondering if we just start off with a mark, like we would get the mark first, like we would get like spider or monkey or whoever. And that would tell us that it's different. Whichever it was, it would mean that there was no higher will intent on giving guardians to specific people. Whatever the case, it would help getting closer to the truth behind the feast. If I found out the rules behind the guardian distribution, I could probably win without trying to read people's minds. The only problem was my whole looping thing. No one would believe me if I told them. I couldn't blame them. If I went and said, "This is how it was last time, so you're the wolf this time," everyone would think I was nuts. I had to look at this as nothing but a source of extra info to use to my advantage. And of course, I couldn't sleep. What would happen to me if I spent the whole night awake? Was someone watching me? Did they know I wasn't sleeping? Would they come to kill me? The line of thinking made me feel like I was being watched. What about the locals? They already had the mist and the feast to fear. Could they sleep soundly? I knew the old stories said they should be able to, but... Nichan, make me happy too. There was something wrong with the people of Yasumizu. They were normal in regular circumstances. No, total idiots anywhere. And not all of them seemed like the sort to lose themselves in superstitious ramblings. You should put the notion loop 2 problem of immediately pointing at SQ. True. I wouldn't recommend saying that on the stream, since that's kind of... I just said that out loud though. Try not to spoil other games. Even though, yeah, I know, but I'm gonna just remove the message here. Yeah. Just because I like to keep all the games like contained just in case somebody didn't see no show. But like I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I think I removed it from that. Yeah, okay, I did remove it from there. Cool. So, but no, I once again, separate. I completely understand. Like, yeah, trying to skip it. There are normal and regular circumstances, no total idiots anywhere, and not all of them seem like the sort to lose themselves in superstitious ramblings. However, certain situations seem to act as a trigger, turning them completely irrational. The absolute extreme fear of the mist, the complete submission to the real story, the lack of aversion toward hanging people. Was that all part of the feast? If so, what kind of psychological systems were at work here? I couldn't understand. Things I couldn't understand scared me. Was there a limit to the extent I couldn't comprehend? What if it was just a huge, never-ending downward spiral of irrationality? If that was the case, I'd be pretty damn scary. It'd be pretty damn scary. What? Yeah, we're getting marked. We're getting a mark. We're most definitely getting a mark. My eyes were closed, but it was bright. That could only mean the morning had come. No, well, yes, but there was something more important. I'd actually closed my eyes and fallen asleep. I got to my feet. Sure enough, it was morning. I actually ended up sleeping. Well, that meant that, since I completed my preparation, I was actually invited to the feast. That was proof that as long as you had a place to stay, you could participate in the feast even if you lived here only for a day. It was 6 o'clock right now. I'd gone to bed way too early, but that provided me a good night's sleep. I couldn't sense any beast outside. Oh, so we don't have a mark. Never mind. Without any hesitation, I opened the door. Sure enough, there was the mist. Last time, the first one who come to me was Chiemi, but that was later than it was now. Was I supposed to wait before making a move? No. This was a chance to learn something I hadn't last time. I couldn't let this opportunity slip me by. Yasumizu was eerily silent. I couldn't see anything. My whole body was covered in cold mist and I was all alone. It reminded me of my time wandering the endless riverbed before death. Crap. People despaired when they were cold, hungry, alone, and could barely see. This was unavoidable, and not something I could win against. I had to find someone right away. Who's there? Suddenly heard an angry shout from nearby. It made me turn rigid, and then... You, early, huh? Kanzo Makishimashi came out of the mist, gun in hand. Good morning. Woke up just now? Yep, nothing special happened. Saw your stomach? Huh? The Guardian show on the stomach. Oh yeah. Chiemi had told me that last time. Also mentioned something about Mako not being able to read it. Go and look. If you say so. Acting like I didn't know what he was talking about, I returned to the hut. Man, that was close. I hadn't even considered the possibility that I'd have a guardian. Well, it was unlikely, but I checked just to be sure. I lifted my t-shirt and exposed my stomach. Ooh, we do have something. We do have a mark. What I saw almost made me shriek. I hadn't even noticed it. I didn't realize there was something like this on my body. It was drawn in red fluid, most likely blood. There was nothing that I've ever seen before. Also, there was some eerie text there. I need a mirror. No, I take a photo. After a bit of trial and error, I finally read what it said. Tower Lookout, the snake. Find the lurking Yomi. Cleanse and purify or die. So we're the snake? Holy shit. What a way to start. so this mark was the snake's. It clearly said the Tower Lookout. The description seemed faithful to the original source, and it had a certain aura about it. Find the lurking Yomi. The snake's role was to search for the Yomi Beto. Cleanse and purify or die. Man, not being roundabout at all, are we? Anyway, that meant the corruption would take me if I didn't wash it off, huh? I quickly grabbed a wet towel and washed off the freakly warning. It even smelled like blood. I didn't know what it belonged to, though. If it were animal blood, it might have been in danger of catching something. Man, what were they thinking? Anyway, the snake of all things? It belonged to Takumi-san last time. He quickly revealed it, and as I assumed, the wolves used it to their advantage. After all, the snake was the human's only way of actively confirming who was a wolf or not. This made it even harder for me to die. And just like I thought yesterday, the roles had changed a lot. There was now no guarantee that Yasunaga-kun and Taesan were wolves. They could easily be humans. Work at what they could do, and that goes, here, have the most powerful human role. True. Same went for everyone else. It was best to assume that I'd been sent back to square one on that front. Wait, how was I supposed to use the snake's power anyway? The Bloodletters only said that I was the snake and had to wash it off right away. Did someone know? But if I went to ask, I'd basically be telling them I was the snake. Would there be an explanation during the first feast? I had no choice but to believe. For now, I would just return to the plaza. Good morning. I walked through the mist as I called out. Over here, boy. This time I had no problems meeting up with Kanzo-san. Did you check it? Yes. Well, my mind stopped for a second. Well, what? Nothing. Don't mind it. He looked away. Was that a leading question just now? If there was something in my stomach, it meant I had a guardian. I was meant to be a newcomer or didn't know anything. Wasn't it unfair to ask me that? If it actually said or even implied that there'd been something in my stomach, that would have meant that I had a guardian. Or if I said there was nothing, they could be used against me further down the line, putting me at a disadvantage. If he was a wolf who knew the implications of his question. Then again, I felt like he retracted his question because he knew it could lead to that kind of misunderstanding. Shit, I'd love to ask that, but I couldn't use knowledge I wasn't supposed to have. Makishima-san's, right? Have you looked around yet? Seemed like a yes to me. Is everyone alright? One's dead. What? He's probably a big guy. He's probably a big guy, hence the split. Wait, you completely lost me just now. What's going on? Stop making noise. I'll kill you. Yo, did he really just use that word so casually? Stay where you are. I don't trust you. He brandished his rifle again. I don't know anything. I didn't do anything. We'll decide that at the feast. He sure was assertive. Maybe he didn't have a guardian this time? This made me realize I could tell friend from foe by searching for differences in their behavior from last time around. For now, though, I just had to make it through this awkward moment with Kanzo-san. Soon enough, we were joined by the others. Tai-san, Takumi-san, Kori-san, Yoshitsugu-kun, the old wolf guy. Takumi-san and Kanzo-san then went to the Nosato mansion in the dorm, leaving me with just a woman and child and 2 elders. Hey, old fart. I was one of those old farts, damn it. You mean me? Who else? Well, it's just uncalled for. What is it anyway? You know anything? Huh? Like what? You got sent to Yasumizu and this happened. It's fucking weird, ain't it? You talked to Higuchi, right? That asshole tell you anything? Nothing comes to mind. I played it off. It looks like the streak of bad luck I've had since Tokyo is still going on. I can sense the situation isn't normal. This mist is just crazy. Like you're one to talk. You're batshit. He said that, but his tone wasn't as antagonistic as before. It actually felt somewhat friendly. I can only guess that my act from yesterday warmed him up to me. A bit, anyway. Yoshitsugu, this again? I ain't picking a fight this time, and stop pushing yourself. You're all pale. I'm sorry about this, Fusashi-san. Yoshitsugu, you behave. I don't mind. By the way, Rikako-san and Mako-chan still aren't here. It seems so. They usually wake up early. I don't give a shit about the village heads. Stop it, Yoshi-kun. I'll go and call them. The relationships here really were complicated. Soon enough, Tae-san brought Rikako-san and Mako. Good morning. As she entered the plaza, she looked at our mist-covered faces. Upon seeing mine, she gasped, then gave me a very slight bow. Oni-chan, I rolled in my futon and hit my leg. It hurts. Mako seemed in poor spirits. A bit later, I'll make it better, with some magic words. Magic? I wouldn't have been all that surprised if she was actually capable of that. This is my first time seeing Yasumizu's mist. It's awfully thick. It is my first time, as well. I believe we have to perform the feast. True. I don't want no fucking family head telling me what to do till do the goddamn feast. Yoshitsugu. I'm sorry for being so powerless. Bah, Oni-chan, you're scary. I ain't okay with you being here. You're still a village head, and there's no way to tell what you're thinking. What's your beef with her? Do you hate the village heads that much? Damn right I do. Without them, Mom would have... I'll expose you eventually. Yoshitsugu-kun sure was aggressive this time. Did he have a guardian? This line of thinking felt dangerous, making too many assumptions seem more risky than not knowing anything. Oni-chan. Rikako-san was as inexpressive as always, but I could tell she was feeling depressed. Man, things sure are difficult here, huh? Haruaki-sama. She looked around in confusion before. I am relieved that you are well, truly. She then gave me a smile. Hey, it's not like a mist can do much to me, right? Sarunaga, that is the name of the river below. Its mists are said to be the breath of Yomi. They're considered to be the worst of ill omens here in Fujiyoshi. Sato-san told me that people always die when there are mists. She made a stern face like any I had seen on her. What a horrible thing to say to a newcomer, such as yourself. Oh, but he said it's only because the mist is so dense it causes many accidents. Even so, it is imprudent. People still live here. Saying that someone is certain to die is too ominous. I've only been here for a day, but from what I can tell, you're pretty different from the other family heads, aren't you? Why would you think that? Well, the way you talk about Yasumizu, for one. It's nothing like Nosato-san and Kami Fujiyoshi's people. I merely think that it should be shown the respect it deserves. Fujiyoshi as a whole depends heavily on Yasumizu, so... What do you mean? Can you elaborate? I shall tell you eventually. Now is not... Yeah, I understand. It's a bad time for that. I want to protect Yasumizu. Fair. What's what we're trying to do, too. Thus, Rikako-san fell silent. Feeling a bit awkward, I resumed waiting. Soon enough, Takumi-san brought Kiyonosuke to us. He immediately started worrying over Rikako-san as expected, but she seemed unreceptive to him. I might have gotten in the way of his love story. Made me feel kind of bad. Eventually, Kanzo-san returned along with the students. Mamiya-san, watch where you step. Whoa. Seeing Hisako Mamiya with them filled me with relief. Thus, I finally understood what would happen now. Good morning, everyone. Ignoring everyone's gloomy faces, she forced a smile and greeted us like it was a normal morning. The inhabitants didn't respond. Big man's dead. I also had to guess about what had happened, so I had trouble picking my words too. What's wrong with you all? Sure, this is a dense mist. What about it? Wait, is Hashimoto-san still asleep? Motherfucker died again. That's why. Okay, that makes sense. Once again, because we know he dies. So, decide arrangements. Yeah. So we must have to unlock a key of where he can go. Hmm. 16's a unique key. I wonder if there's no lock on the door. Maybe that's what it is. Again, no one responded. He's up the hill, right? I'll go check. No point. Kanzo opened his mouth, taking it upon himself to say it. I could already hear some stifling sobbing. It was Haru-chan. Not only was she afraid, but she also realized that a tragedy had occurred. Mamiya-san realized that something was wrong and was about to ask about it when... Big guy's dead. Fucking blunt. The crude old man just told her what was up. Dead? What are you... He's lying dead near the landslide. He left! What kind of nonsense is that? She instantly lost her composure. The unnatural aura around here was suddenly starting to get to her. Don't mess with me like that. We must fix our van and leave as soon as possible. I'll go wake him up myself. Stay where you are. What right do you have to... Makishima-san. I raised my voice because Kanzo reached for his gun again. This has to be a joke. What is this? Am I being punked? Did you burst the tires for this? Oh, that makes sense. We still don't know your rules. There's no guarantee that we'll do what you want just because you have a gun. What's your deal? You should stop that, old man. What's gotten into you? You always tell us never to point guns at people. Yeah, he's acting suspicious as fuck. Kanzo silently lowered the gun. If it's not a joke, then it's a crime. You're going too far. Stop it right now. I'm leaving this instant. Mamiya-san, was it? Sorry, but that won't fly. You can't leave until the mist clears. I'm sorry to say this, but your partner's gone. Someone killed him. Killed? Killed? What are you saying? Takumi, take her. Can you handle blood? You're joking, right? I'll go with you. He helped me a lot. All right, you'll have to help me, though. With the cleanup, I assumed. All right. I shall go as well. Miko, you stay here. I'll go too. Me too. That shit doesn't scare me. How absurd. He must have tripped on something because of the mist. The place happens to belong to me, so I guess I must see it too. How troublesome. We got so many volunteers that besides the old people in Mako, the only ones who ended up staying were Kaori-san and Haru-chan, both of them who didn't look so good. Takumi-san led us uphill. Since we went through the field, some of us fell or got stuck, so we took a whole 10 minutes. Still, we arrived at the scene of the crime. What I saw there was almost exactly the same as what I saw last time. There was a brutalized corpse. It was close to the prefab next to the waist-tall boulder, which did little to hide the large body. It was thoroughly destroyed. The entire frame had been torn apart and bent as if to systematically detach his muscles, insides, and bones from his body. The only things that hinted at who this once was the scattered pieces of clothing and the impressive amount of flesh. Once again, Yudai Hashimoto, she failed to survive the first night. Again, motherfucker. So we went outside last night. Tsukumi-san muttered to himself. What is that? I would get louder, however, people are sleeping. I apologize. Mamiya-san finally broke her disbelieving silence with a hysterical scream. What happened? What happened to Hashimoto-san? How did he end up like... Mamiya-san, please calm down. How can I? Why? Why did this happen? This is just... Mamiya-san stopped mid-sentence and began puking. She either screamed herself into vomiting or caught a direct glimpse of the corpse. You're not the only one who wants to scream. Crap, I don't want to die because of some old story. You knew about this? Huh? You knew that this would happen? Asked him that while feigning anger and despair. Can't say I did, but we heard that this happens. Miscome, people die. Those deaths were caused by accidents. That's what I thought. I believe what the village heads told us too, and look at that. They were lying. Who lied about what? What? Are you saying that so-called Okami have come back from the dead? Don't act like you don't know shit. Monsters and gods don't just pop out of nowhere. It's the village heads. They must have sent some beasts here. Stop it, you two. Rikako-san's faint yet stern voice cut their argument short. She then faced Hashimoto-san's body and lowered herself before it. It is our duty to give proper treatment to the guest who failed to prepare for the beast. We should, at the very least, let him go to Yomi in peace. I shall take in his corruption. Rikako-san then... What are you... Rikako-san was inching her face closer to the pile of flesh and bone when... Get away! Mamiya-san suddenly cut in, stopping her. Hey, what are you doing? Stop! Don't hold me back! Her voice and face were borderline demonic. None of us could bring ourselves to stop her. She leapt over to the corpse and, ignoring the blood, began sifting through the remains with her hands. It has to be here. I suddenly realized what she was doing. I'll help. She didn't respond nor stop me. She completely lost her cool, but that madness was under her control. It was clear that it wasn't some unreasonable panic. After all, he must have had it. I began helping her roughly, searching the body. Haruaki-san, what are you doing? The camera. He might have taken some photos. Oh. This kill was the same as last loop. The body was torn apart with no rhyme or reason. I felt something stiff on my hand. It was hair. It was close to the head. Don't overthink it. I grabbed his dick. Oh, fuck. His camera must have been on his neck. I can follow this hint and I felt a cord on my hand. Found it. Where? It was a thoroughly broken, expensive-looking digital camera. It must have cost a fortune, but Mamiya-san didn't care and just opened it. Monsters? No way. They don't exist. She muttered that in delirium, took out its memory card, then threw the camera away and ran off. Hey, where are you going? Takumi Nichan, take care of the rest. The two disappeared into the mist. Oh, you two were here. Cool. You won't know anything now soon? Not much, but... Look, the prefab doesn't have a toilet. Oh, so he had to leave to take care of his business. He didn't know how important the preparations were, so this result was obvious. I should have been the one to stay in the prefab. He died because of me. But I couldn't let myself wallow in regret. Okay. So that's what we need to know. We need to know that there is no toilet there. Okay. Or something similar. Rikako-san approached the body again, but Takumi-san put his hand on her shoulder. You don't need to do that. But I don't want to rely on some mysterious village head shit. Don't make me. Things will just get worse, and you Uematsu always get the short end of the stick, don't you? To put your hands together or something. Takumi-san's tone was neither calm nor sympathetic. I had no idea what he meant by short end of the stick. But for some reason, I felt like he was protecting her from something. Very well. Rikako-san did as she was told and put her hands together before chanting some sort of prayer. Tick. Yoshitsugu-kun watched her with a scowl. Rikako-san. Kyonosuke missed his chance to talk to her, so he was just frozen in place. Yasu, Yoshi, Chikamochi, take everyone to go back, then wash your hands and prepare to eat. Alright. Don't order me around. Let's go, Richan! Nosato-san, it's time to leave. I don't need you to lead me. Let's go, Rikako-san. Thus they all left. Sorry about this, Fusashi. Oh, you can count on me for this much. Takumi-san and I began cleaning up Hashimoto-san's body. We couldn't remove the door, so we carried him on a board from the destroyed construction site. And so we dropped him into Saranaga. I listened carefully, and I thought I actually heard a splash this time. So there was a bottom after all. Then why had we gotten lost in that one loop? All of a sudden, key. Thinking on that possibility, I parted ways with Takumi-san, then returned to my hut and washed the blood off. I went to the plaza again. The people had gathered around the dining hall. They were handing out food, apparently. You washed your hands? Yes, and the rest of my body. I see. Well done. Tae-san seemed to be a bit softer on me than before. You young'uns need to eat. You won't last long if you do. True. What about you? I don't have an appetite right now. You should eat anyways if you can manage it. Giving a vague response, Tae-san looked up at the boulder next to us. I followed her gaze and... This is... There's 3 wolves? What? No way. We got 3 wolves to figure out. Fuck me. So the blood side from last time. Yeah, each of them represents a wolf returning from Yomi, so since there's 2 marks, it stands to reason there's 2 wolves. That was what Chimia told me last time, and now there are 3 wolves. Yeah, there were 3 of those weird diamond whirls. What do you mean? I'll tell you later. Very well. See you then. A bit overwhelmed, I walk away. The number of people had increased. I was told there could be 3 wolves at most, and that was exactly what we got this time. Why? What caused this change? There were several differences from last time, but which one of them did it? Whatever it was, I could assume that knowing the roles from last time wasn't much of an advantage. Outside the dining hall, Kanzo-san was sitting on the ground and drinking something from a large bowl. He looked up at me and, "Better eat up," said those curt words before focusing on his bowl again. He didn't trust me, nor did he antagonize me more than necessary. That was pretty reasonable, actually. Welcome back, Fusashi-san. Inside the building, I found the students, Uematsu-san, Meiko, Kyonosuke-shi, and Kaoru-san. Well, there was the old wolf guy too, but he was just staring at an empty bowl in the corner of the room. Sorry I couldn't help. Oh, don't be. Thank you so much for helping Takumi-san. I didn't do much. Where's Jimmy-chan and Mamiya-san? The journalist said something about looking inside the camera and locked herself up in her room, so Izawa-san went to clean the journalist's clothes. Made sense. Mamiya-san was really bloody. Here you go. Kaoru-san gave me a bowl and I took one of the empty seats. Thank you for your work, Fusashi-san. No problem, Yasunaka-kun. You already remembered my name. What an honor. That wasn't enough to hint I was looping, was it? I took a pair of chopsticks and ate up. It was a simple meal of some boiled vegetables and meat. I'm sorry, it's nothing impressive. These are leftovers from yesterday, but we can't waste anything, as you might imagine. How much food do we have? The fridge stopped working, so the milk and meat will go bad soon, but you don't have to worry about the rice and vegetables. Oh, I didn't think about it last time, but at the very least, this awful situation didn't come with a food shortage. Perhaps that was a silver lining. So you have no electricity. Any other problems? I'm worried about the gas. It was almost time to change the cylinder, so if it runs out, should we make bonfires? The mountain will go apeshit. Chikamochi-kun, watch your language. Listening to that strangely mundane exchange, I resumed eating. It was actually good. It didn't look like it was, so I felt like I had to close my eyes. Unlike the soup I was given in Kamafujiyoshi, it was well salted and had a rich taste. The meat had to be the game killed by Kanzo-shi and gutted by Chiemi. It didn't reek much and had a simple flavor. It was probably venison. I'd consider this revenge for the time they made a fool out of me in the mountains. In terms of the amount of meat and seasoning, the people here seemed to be eating better than Kamafujiyoshi. Was it just my imagination? After emptying my bowl, I was offered some more and gladly took it. It was best to eat whenever I had the chance. I'm impressed how quickly you got used to the local food. Kyonosuke-shi suddenly commented. I thought he was being sarcastic, but his tone didn't seem antagonistic. You're not eating? I have food at home. Honestly, I've lived in the city for so long, the local food seems tasteless to me now. By local, I probably meant Fujiyoshi as a whole, not just Yasumizu. And I really don't feel like eating right now. Interesting. Interesting. You should dig in, Uncle. You might not get another chance. Mochi. Her heart had been completely pale since I'd arrived, but she suddenly covered her mouth and ran off to the bathroom. She forced herself to eat what she'd been given, but the stress had left her unable to keep it down. Chikamochi, you were disinherited because you don't understand people's feelings. Have you learned nothing? I don't want to hear that from you. I'll go say sorry. He went to the bathroom too, leaving the rest of us feeling kind of awkward. What's going to happen now? We will probably have a gathering like the old days and use it to decide who did it. And what then? Don't worry, Fusashi-san. Yasunaka-kun joined the conversation with an unnaturally bright tone. I'm sure it won't be anything unreasonable. Oh, you sound confident. It makes you seem reliable. Maybe. Anyway, don't worry. Was he a wolf this time too? As I frowned, I thought to myself, Takumi-san joined us. Takumi-san. Kaoru-san, get me lots of whatever's up. You alright, Kyo? Don't call me that. Oh, Fusashi, you eating it too? Yeah, thank you for the food, Kaoru-san. Man, you gotta eat her food before me. Look at you. Good stuff, huh? Yes, makes me want someone like her as my wife. Oh my, you flatter me too much. Don't tell me you're after... Huh? What's up with this atmosphere? After playing it off. By the way, Takumi-san. I called to Takumi in a low voice. What? When's the feast? He's baiting him? True. 9, Omen Kanzo said it. Alright. It wasn't even an hour before we would begin discussing who to kill. Takumi-san began eating and everyone fell silent, so I went and moved seats. You okay, old man? Oh, he was the same as always. Man, just what would we do if we had a guardian? This sure is troublesome. I arrive and get caught up in the mist the very next day. Where in Yasumizu do you live? Yeah. This wasn't even a conversation. Sorry, looks like I got in the way of something. It's safe here. Excuse me? This is the most safe place. That's why I'm here. Safe? You mean the dining hall? No response. Were we having a dialogue, or was he just muttering things that made no sense? Was he talking about Yasumizu? That couldn't be it. After all, this was the least safe place in Fujiyoshi. I thought that he had a reason why he found it safe, but whatever it was, I couldn't save him from dying last time. In the end, it wasn't safe for him either. Something seemed off, but I couldn't put my finger on what. I somehow lost my right to sit next to him and began searching for a new seat as I waited. The clock seemed to move strangely slowly. A chair next to me was pulled a bit. Anyway, where could I sit? Our eyes met. Anyway, where could I sit? I wish to talk to you, Haruaki-sama. She expressed it with words. Anyway, where could I... Don't ignore me, Kako-san. Why are you the one saying that? What do you mean? I knew you're new and don't know who to respect, but it's common courtesy to respond to a woman's modest consideration. Good job, Haruaki. Oh, I'm not sure if it was modest, but I can't really argue with the rest. So you understand. Wait, are you just messing around? Kako-san, you look beautiful today. There, we're done talking. Anyway, Nosato-senpai, how do you manage to play the straight man so naturally? Don't mess around with the village heads. Honey-chan, you're being weird. Oh, you made a comedy routine out of these people. Strange guy. Musashi-san is quite funny. Hori-san, look at this face. It's funny, Takumi-san. I saw the face, it was not funny. Kinosuke, she eventually shouted the standard, I'm not staying with someone so ill-bred, and left. While Takumi-san went with him, so I doubted Kinosuke would end unlucky victim number 2 as per horror cliches. It came back to me. During the previous feast of the Omi Purge, Chikamochi Kamoshida and the old wolf guy had been killed, probably by something other than corruption. The suspects from back then who are now around the dining hall were... No, if it meant finding out the truth, I could just leave that. I had to switch gears. Anyway, I sat down next to Rikako-san, who said her "who is" so many times she actually gone limp. Sayuki-san! Listen, we protect Mako. Like, absolutely. I don't care if Mako's a wolf. We protect her. Save the children, is what I'm saying. So that was my name now, huh? I gave up on correcting her. Hey, Mako-chan. I'll borrow Oni-chan for a bit. Okay. Are you going to talk? Then want to play with me, Mako-chan? Yeah. Arsunaga-kun took Mako with him, giving us a chance to talk. You are awful. Hearing that from a beauty like you can actually make me actually makes me happy. I was actually starting to find these reactions adorable. I could enjoy bullying a cute older woman. This was a rare opportunity, and I appreciated it immensely. Anyway, what is it? I feel quite guilty. Huh? Why? Because I accepted you and the journalists at the worst possible time. Is that something to feel guilty about? No one can predict when a mist comes. No, this is all happening because of our Fujiyoshi's original sin. Original sin? Like divinity? No, just kidding. Yes, this village prospered by killing the servants of God, after all. The ancient story of killing the wolves, huh? I'd like to hear more. Yamawaki-sama should give an explanation later. Yamawaki-san will? Yes, after all, she is Yasumizu's representative. Representative, not a landlord, huh? Yes, everything in Yasumizu belongs to either the village or the family heads, but still needs a manager. Yamawaki-sama is a well-adjusted lady, and the oldest of us all, so she possesses discretion. That is the way it is. I see, so the way it is that, huh? Instead of turning bashful, she actually glared at me this time. This was pretty good too. That aside, I now knew how it was. The eldest was the representative, and with that, she was in charge of the feast tutorial. By the way, you seem pretty hung up on the guests. Is there some sort of local culture related to that? Yes, I hear that Fujiyoshi was once full of visitors who came to the Shinai Shrine to pray for good hunting. Hunters from the outside were considered honored guests and treated kindly around here. That made sense. If the belief itself was the villagers' main draw, I could understand why this unique religion survived for so long. I wanted to get some certain details, but it didn't seem like something I should ask about while alone. So that's how it was. You're nice to me because I'm a guest, right? Huh? No, that is not. Or is it because I was there when you got hurt? That is... Yes, thank you again. But... Do I need a reason? Oh, not at all. I just felt like there was some reason behind it. What if there was? I'd be happy. Maybe. The adorable woman hung her head down, cheeks reddening. I was the one playing around with her, but that actually made me feel kind of bashful. Perhaps I had to be more serious about her feelings. How would I do that, though? You did literally kiss a decaying Chiemi. If you kiss Bikako... Should we be happy Should we not? I don't know. Forget it. It wasn't the time for that. I was given an important role, so I had to find a way to keep the others alive. Shall we go? Kari-san's voice prompted everyone to rise from their seats. Then we wordlessly began to leave the dining hall. It didn't feel like an emergency, but this was the end of our normal everyday life. Okay. Is this a good place to stop? The reason I'm saying this is because it's almost 11 o'clock, and it's as crazy as it sounds. I still got another game I didn't want to stream because I don't work until 10 tomorrow, so I can survive on like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. But it's also at the point where my roommates are asleep in the other side. And while I would love to read a lot more and do different voices, we're getting to the point where if I don't shut up, it's not going to end well. So I think it's probably a good idea to end before the feast for this path. And then go from there. So I'm sorry if it's a bit of a cliffhanger. I did want to stream this earlier, but like I said, new job stuff. I've had to be awake at 5 o'clock, and I also slept terribly. So I ended up sleeping right when I got home. But we will be playing more of this game. I, once again, really been enjoying this. Like, absolutely. What am I looking at? Sorry. We absolutely will be playing more of this in the future. So I just want to let y'all know. Sorry, I'm like double checking my lists here. So unfortunately, if everything stays the same about how this is going to work this week, we should be streaming this again on Saturday, but there is a very high probability we might stream this earlier. For those who don't know, who aren't on the Discord with the stream schedule this week, we were supposed to be streaming Danganronpa with our usual group on Thursday and Friday, but it very much, I'm just double checking the list here. Okay. I don't know if we're still doing Danganronpa on Thursday and Friday. I'm going to say, by the way, before I forget. So, man, look at all these bookmarks. Jesus. Yeah, ideally we should be streaming Danganronpa on Thursday and Friday, but it's very likely that we won't because I think one person is not free on both days. So if that's the case, I would say if we don't stream Danganronpa on Thursday, expect the Raging Loop on Thursday, because I think Doge would back out on Thursday. And then Friday we won't, and then Saturday and Sunday we're going to be doing this game 2 days in a row. So I'm trying to stick to the schedule. This week, like I said, is a little bit rough because I'm doing a whole bunch of like new hire training sort of stuff and had to travel. I don't have to travel for another 2 weeks, so that's cool. But I have a whole bunch of stuff I have to study, which, man, studying not my forte, so to speak. So I am trying to get through these streams as best as I can. I'm trying to get through all these games, playing some more stuff, but I just do ask for your patience with me as I'm trying to get all this stuff taken care of. Regarding Raging Loop, once again, I'm really enjoying the game. I feel like I should probably guess who is who this time around too. But I'm wondering if I should do that after the first discussion. Like, I'm thinking I should do this maybe like after the first discussion so that way I can get the proper information and go from there. So I'm going to hold off on that for the time being. So yeah, should be pretty good. I also, like, once again, I apologize for those who like enjoy this game and are like maybe irate about the fact that I like to guess a lot of things ahead of time. Just because I like solving mysteries a little bit ahead of time, but I'm still loving it regardless. As far as the locks go so far, I do think 20. So these are my theories so far when it comes to the locks. So I'm going to start with that real quick before we end off the stream, as well as I want to discuss what I think is overall going on, and then going from there. So I think lock 20 is Chiemi being fully aware of the loop. I think that's what it is, based on her response for just seeing Haruaki and just suddenly crying but didn't know why. I think 20 like fully clues her into the loop. 3, 8, and 19, I think, because in this path the reporters are always going to die. So 3, 8, and 19. I would assume 19 is another, like, knowing that another building exists where we can then participate in the feast by knowing, like knowing what we need to do. But I think 3, what is it? Because right here is 3 and 20. So like 20, like I said, is Chiemi being aware. And then 3. I just want to see this real quick. Sorry. Oh, 3 would be being aware of like how to prevent somebody from leaving. That's what I think it is. Did I? Hold on. I just want to make sure I didn't skip anything. Oh. Load. Let me just, wait. There we go. There we go. I was like, wait, hold on a second. Yeah, so I'm going to say that 3 is knowing, like, wait, would 3 be knowing about the outhouse? Like, knowing specifically how safe the outhouse is? Maybe? I don't know, because, like, 20, like I said, 20 would have to be that Chiemi would know what's going on. But 3, because it takes place, since we know what goes on, like, the person would have to leave in order to use the restroom. Maybe it's like setting up something. I don't know about 3, because 3 is also in the other outhouse, so something specific there. 16 is probably specifically knowing that the like why, how to prevent the mountain man guy, Hashimoto, is that what his name is? Probably figuring out specifically how to protect Hashimoto. Which, if that's the case, like, that's simple. Like, we'll probably find something and be like, okay, we know it's here, so now we can actually protect him and, like, make sure he doesn't do some dumb shit again. So I get the feeling I'm starting to piece together what these keys are. I don't know what 8 and 19 are, though. That's the thing. Like, maybe 19 would be, like, say, Rokako knows, like, what the loop is going on. Possibly. Because, like, they seem like they're the ones on the title screen. Like, let's keep that in mind. Sorry, if I go to the title screen now, they are the 2 featured on the title screen alongside Haruaki. So I would assume that maybe one of them is making sure Rokako is aware. Also, that's a necklace with 3 of the wolf things on it. I don't know. I ultimately think, though, that, like, it's cool to know that the roles switch around every single timeline, so I'm interested to know how many timelines there are. I don't think there's just 3. That just seems silly. Maybe there's one for each. So other idea that I'm having is, what if there's one path where Haruaki is not involved, one path where he's a snake, the monkey, the crow, spider, a wolf, and then a regular human. So what if there's 7 different timelines? That would be interesting. That's an assumption that I have, but, like, I'm not sure. But it's also really hard to tell, like, what specifically is going on. The reason I say that is, like, yeah, I can tell that there's a game of werewolf and we're trying to keep everyone alive. That's Haruhaki's idea. But it's not like he's trying to stop the loop. The reason why I say he's like not really trying to stop the loop is he's thinking that the way to end the loop is by making sure everyone survives. I don't think that's the case. Because like, let's be real, if that was the case where he's just trying to stop the loop, I mean, at least he's smart enough to know that by like continuing on, he'll get more information in order to prevent some more deaths. But like, I'm thinking like other protagonists who would just like figure out a way to off themselves to try again. So I don't know. I'm so intrigued. Like, I want to play this a lot more, don't get me wrong. But like I said, right now it's too late. I don't want to wake up my roommates. Which is why the next game we're going to be streaming here in a moment is going to be Graveyard Keeper, because that's really quiet and I don't need to do too much. I have it listed as Dave the Diver today. I kind of want to play Dave the Diver. Fine, we'll stick with the main schedule and we'll do Dave the Diver, and then Graveyard Keeper's tomorrow anyways, so that's fine. So I don't have to switch things around. So yeah, we're just doing a calm stream after the fact, and that way I don't have to talk too much and get stuff going. I know probably the smarter decision is to just go to sleep so I'm prepared for work tomorrow, but if I'm being honest, I'm going to be staring at trainings all day, so yeah. But I thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed Raging Loop. I should be back. Give me like an hour or so to be back. We'll be streaming some Dave the Diver, assuming I don't fall asleep or have second thoughts and just be like, I guess I need to prepare for work tomorrow. So, yeah. But with that, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed the stream. Have a wonderful day, night, morning, afternoon, or evening. Of course, my name is Gitafi. I'll see you next time for more Variety Gaming. Also, I should start saying this more because we're trying to grow the community. Whether you're watching on YouTube and Twitch, also feel free to follow the streams on Twitch and subscribe on YouTube. Just so that way you can see when the next streams are. I should be better at saying that more. I feel weird saying it, but I'm also a streamer, so like I guess I got to. So yeah. Anyway, see you all later. Peace, everybody.